This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. This One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Just fresh off, the NBA playoffs weekend and lots of news in the world of wrestling and seeing all this AI taking over the music.
Yeah, that's been a thing. And, you knew it was coming. There are people on Twitter speculating that, like the recording industry is going to, dispatch the lawyers in a way we haven't seen since Napster. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how they're going to come up with the reasoning or the argument, the legal argument that an AI voice of a rapper or artist that belongs to your record label is
off limits.
That's stealing from you, and it's that's not the same exact thing as interpolation or sampling.
Maybe it's the case where, remember how AJ Styles was Vince McMahon owns this face? The label owns that voice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has something tied to that. I'm just interested to see, once they make that argument and if they win, what then that also unlocks elsewhere as far as, other places, as far as those kind of deals. It's going to be interesting. They might open us unintended consequences elsewhere that they weren't expecting, just to try to tamp this down.
Yeah, man. I've been listening to this Drake and the Weeknd song because it actually sounds like them. And it was by some dude named Ghost Rider or whatever. Yeah. And I actually had pulled it up to show Catherine. I was playing on Spotify. And they yoinked that shit. And I was listening to it earlier today on Spotify. Pulled it back up probably about 7 o'clock. That shit was gone. So you had to find it somewhere else. It's on YouTube. TikTok's overrun with all of them.
Yep.
This is I saw a really interesting comment from somebody. I thought it was pretty hilarious. I was either Drake's going to come across that guy and he's going to hit him with a lawsuit, or he's going to give him a job. One of the two.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
If you haven't heard it, it's called Heart on My Sleeve.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard Drake's part mostly and a little bit of the Weeknd part. Whatever. The thing that I found most insulting was
20 viewers. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, the thing that I found most insulting would be that ain't no Young Metro beat. Get the fuck out of here.
Bro, I heard the beat. I was like,
nah.
This is really kind of, I thought it was kind of right.
I was the beat's fine, but that's not nothing he'd make. Or nothing that he would land on somebody.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard him use a piano.
Right.
So.
It's kind of uncharacteristic.
Yeah. But yeah, ain't nobody AI in my shit yet. So, I ain't really worried about it. So y'all can keep purchasing Dream Machine Act 2. All that did a live From the Desk with It performance. So much in the way Paul George said he was from the logo with it, I'm from the desk with it. So did a whole live performance, popped that on the YouTube, did a video chopping up Anita Baker, Caught Up in the Rapture of Love. That is going pretty crazy. Black Sabre Jr., the AI O&R show is going to be crazy. Once we figure that out, we ain't even got to show up on Mondays. We can just be like, yep, we just gonna run this shit and then turn the video off and let it go. What do y'all in the comments think the AI O&R show would be like?
Oh man, that's gonna be wild.
Because there's enough audio of James and I on the internet. I'm sure somebody could link up an O&R bot.
Just wait until they start AI generating fake news clips of I don't know, Tucker Carlson saying something that he didn't actually say, or saying for Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon.
I think that's already here.
Yeah, but it's easy. It's still not sophisticated enough to not be able just to spot after 5 seconds that it's fake.
Adam, the ones where it's the O&R bot burying Cody. Never count out Chris Jericho from Rich. That sounds a bit off. Yeah. Lots of bits.
The thing that I'm really worried about is somehow somebody gets a hold of somebody's news feed, and then some broadcast channel's news feed or TV feed, and then pumps in a fake presidential address, the addressination, and it's fake Biden or fake whoever in the Oval Office, and it's real, and it's saying something that's not actually true. It's gonna happen, and then the real thing is what'll really get everybody, and I talked to you about this off air, but we'll get people kind of get their shit together when it comes to this AI shit being a problem. Is when they start having famous dudes being AI fake porn. That's when people will be or fake or AI gay porn. That's when they'll be like, oh no, now we understand that putting women's faces that aren't actually in this stuff is bad. That's when they'll understand it. They'll get it then. Before it'll be well, I don't understand the problem. I don't get it. When I see these idiots online saying that stuff, it's bro, okay, all right. When they take your name, image, and likeness, and put it on somebody getting their back blown out, you'll understand then.
Couple of different comments. Retrogram Dr. Joshi Stardom match of the week segment. Dylan says that is already happening, James. Oof. Apparently. Seamus Nova says the overwhelming meat era of AI finna go wild.
Oh my god. You get overwhelmed. I listened to this shit back twice while I was walking through Philippi Park. And I'm walking down that trail, right? I'm just trying to keep eyes forward, just straight ahead. Person going by me this way, I'll, throw a hand up as a wave, not break a smile or nothing. That shit made me walking on the trail, shoulders up, laughing. So I can't believe the commitment this man had to getting this shit off without breaking. Yeah, very impressive work by you, Rich. Really impressive.
Yeah, man. Had to I just think the jokes are sometimes better when you keep them straight. You play it straight, learn from the master Chris Jericho. If it's serious to me, it's serious to everyone else. Still thinking about that meat, But I guess we should jump into some NBA playoff talk. I only watched one full game, James, and I bet you can guess what it is.
Okay. So we have a group chat of our friends that from the area, and a lot of it was the most that I saw talk was during that particular Lakers and Grizzlies game. So I'm assuming that was what the game you watched. Okay,
you goddamn right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's start there.
Los Angeles Lakers will go as far as Austin Reeves takes us. I don't want to hear about Anthony Davis. I don't want to hear about the Glass Man. I don't want to hear about LeBron James. This is Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves showing up and balling out, saving the day, giving Lakers Nation something to be proud of. Unbelievable. Cooking them in Memphis. It's a parade inside my city. Yeah. All that. Shut it down.
You got more?
I mean, I ain't really seen shooting in Memphis like that. Like,
don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Do not make a Martin Luther King Jr. assassination joke. Don't do that. You stop right now. Stop it.
Austin ain't went this crazy, since WrestleMania 17, apparently. So, my man, Rui Hachimura representing Nihon out there.
Yeah.
Worldwide Lakers out here on you boys.
This shit was so funny because, I followed Tokyo Sports on Twitter, and, I would see, about once a week, they would write some article about Rui Hachimura on the Lakers, and then so he has this game, and the first thing I think of, they finna have a write about this world on Tokyo Sports.
Bro, this man was shooting, and it was like, they're just gonna keep leaving him open. He was like, all right, I'm just never gonna miss. What if I do that?
Yeah, and we've seen this before. That's the guy they're trying to leave open because, if he's a person that theoretically that you want to, because obviously he's a theoretical 3-and-D type of person. He has the size and for that, and he has played better defense in LA than he had been prior in his career. But the 3-point shot was never really there throughout, even with the Lakers. But that's somebody you imagine, you put him in the corner, and they also put Jared Vanderbilt in the corner as well. But you're expecting if someone's gonna be taking above the break 3-pointers, it's gonna be people like LeBron, AD, Austin Reeves, Malik Beasley, right? He's getting these wide ass open above the break threes, and it's if you're their defense, you're like, all right, we'll live with that. And then he made 3 of them in a row, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you just see then he gets a post up on the left block and shoots a 15-footer turned over shoulder. It's like, oh, he's feeling it. All you did was get that man confidence with these wide ass open shots. He knocked down these practice shots, and now the rim is as big as the river. That
shit was looking real Robert Horry-ish.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
and I ain't see nothing from Memphis that made me think that we couldn't handle them. And I'm looking forward to getting them out of here in 5.
Especially off even when Jaw went down, y'all had a 4 point lead at the time.
Yeah, they lost already.
Yeah, y'all, I felt like y'all had the game in control, and unless Jaw was going to do something, which he was not playing well for most of the game while he was in. I thought that
he's just gonna have to hold the 5 with the other hand now, James. That's all.
for now, or he should have been doing what he always should have been doing, which is paying someone else to do that. But yeah, especially in Memphis, you may have seen some things in the newspaper there, John, that lets you know that people pay to have people knocked off in that city. Anyway, I thought the Lakers. Sorry,
what we look like losing to Dylan Brooks,
right.
That shit don't I can't count the amount of times that I would see the Grizzlies swing the ball to a wide open from 3 Dylan Brooks, and then already start celebrating as I know that shot ain't going in.
Right, I mean, he made a couple shots at the end of the game. Whatever, he's an NBA player. He's going to make a couple of them, but you're just all right, We'll live with those.
It's like you needed to make the couple that you missed to
right.
make up for the momentum a little bit earlier in the game.
Right. And I thought that Lakers defensively, I thought they did a really smart thing of all right, we'll put LeBron on Jaren Jackson Jr. and LeBron is not going to be able to do what he used to do to Pau Gasol or Al Jefferson back in the day in his Miami Heat prime day where he just flaunts dudes and just erase them. But he might be able to do that for one play, but watching that game, it is apparent to me. I was saying this before for the playoffs. For those people that think LeBron is going to all of a sudden be able to just put the hammer down and score 20 in the first half of playoff games whenever he needs to, like he used to, those days are over. Watching him and the level of effort he actually gave in the game and compared to how he looked is he might have some bullets in the chambers, but he's not going to be able to give you 5 of these in a series if you need it. That's what it looked like to me. Obviously,
but that's okay, James, because Austin Reeves does what he wants on the floor. He shows up.
But hold on, we'll get Austin Reeves in a second. But getting back to the LeBron thing, like they had LeBron playing Jerry Jackson Jr. From behind, and a couple times he would front him and make it hard for him to get the ball. But like he's like, hey, if you wanna, he's going to score. Jerry Jackson's going to get his buckets in the post over LeBron, but like he has to score at the top of him, and like you ain't gonna survive on a steady diet of that for keep an offense going if the Lakers are making shots on the other end. So I thought like them doing that and then leaving AD instead of like tussle with Jaren Jackson Jr. and like basically just play off of like either Roddy or off of Tillman was like AD was a menace in the game. He had like 7 blocks and changed a bunch of the shots. There was one play where in the first half where like Ja against pretty much any other big in the league, he gets he looks like he's about to get downhill, get ahead of steam into the rim and launch. And the dude in the big has to bail to be able to meet him at the rim early, and he just lifts up for a floater. AD was able to stop his momentum, recover, and change his shot. And I was like, if that's going to be what this series is, it's going to be real. It's going to be a lot harder than I thought, and Ja's not going to be able to just do whatever he wants. And if he can't do whatever he wants in this series, I don't know how they're going to score enough points. And now Ja's hands even more fucked up than it was before, and I'm like, in the way he was talking, it did not sound good.
Jackson.
Like, look, Jaren Jackson had a great game, but it's like, it's kind of like when you used to watch, like, the Amari Stoudemire's Suns versus Spurs game, where it's like, oh my God, he might get 40. Yeah, he might get 40. That don't mean that's enough for him to win the series.
Look, but he by himself.
Right.
Kenyon Martin used to have those games as a New Jersey Net back in the day.
Yeah. But Austin Reeves,
the new king of Memphis. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. Jerry Lawler, get him out of here. Elvis, don't care. Juicy J, move around.
Juicy J, move around.
Austin Reeves, ESPN stats and info. Austin Reeves is the third Laker in the last 25 years to finish 5 for 5 or better in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. He joins Kobe Bryant against the Spurs in 2002 and Shaq against the Pacers in 2000.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Going nuts out here. Can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait to see what else AR 15 got here for us.
Okay, so what was your favorite Austin Reeves nickname?
I'm with AR 15 personally.
Okay, because I saw Hillbilly Kobe and I fucking howled.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I saw someone, and then I sent the other one, like someone called him Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
Which is just funny because, like, obviously the games are nothing similar. It's just you're white. That's the joke. We're not even going to try to even be subtle with it at all. But yeah, man, it was a fun game. But like,
we had the long talk about white Lakers players before.
Say again.
So we had the long talk about white Lakers players. Before.
Did we have them on air?
I don't think it was on air, but we pretty much determined it's like either you a fucking star or you're a bum. Like there's no in between in the Los Angeles Lakers. Like
that was like at the trade deadline when like they were thinking like they thought they might be able to get Bogdanovich out of Detroit, and it was like I was like, hey bro, when was the last time Lakers had an offensive dude that can give you work on offense? And you were like, that's not what the Los Angeles Lakers do.
That's not the brand.
Like, not since Gil Goodrich.
Pau Gasol, totally different thing.
Right.
Who else? Jesus.
Vladi, that's a similar thing to like
a whole different thing.
It's big men. That's not the same thing at all.
Right. Like we're not running no guards out here that's about to, light it up. As role players or stars. And, like Jerry West, Gail Goodrich. Shit like that. But
so do you have any more thoughts of the game, or you move on to other stuff that interests you throughout the weekend?
Man, I want nothing more than to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't care about anything else.
We haven't talked about that on the show because we didn't even talk about Ja when Ja got in. It was like that one week where he was like, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on?" We didn't talk about him that way. Early in the season, Rich had said to me, hey, bro, I don't like Dylan Brooks. And I was like, Rich, Rich, I had to watch him in the playoff have these terrible possessions that I thought were like just waste and turnovers that were just banked off the rim against Minnesota, and I've never liked him ever since then. And I was like, what a coincidence. I don't like him. And then he broke Gary Payton the second elbow, and I was like, I definitely don't like this fucking guy. And then like he starts talking more, he's doing all this stuff, and it's like, bro,
this happened before all the talking too. Like,
yeah. And the thing, like, I just fundamentally do not like guys that do this kind of talking when they are not the ones that have to cash the checks for their teams to win. Like, there's a reason why I have my issues with Draymond over the years. Draymond's in a whole different stratosphere of player than Dylan Brooks ever will be. But you get my point. It's like, all this shit you talking, this shit is on Klay Thompson and is on Kevin Durant and it is on Steph Curry. It's not on you if they lose. Like, people like, he got suspended for doing that for kicking people in the nuts all playoffs or whatever else, and then missed one of them games, and then they end up, losing that series and 73 win series. What do we talk about? Steph got locked out by Kevin Love at the 3-point line. Like, that's people don't even talk about Draymond sabotaging a 73 win season. They talk about Steph Curry, right? So it's like, this is why I don't like that kind of shit. Cause like, when people talk about like who won, when, and or whatever else, like, Draymond Green's legacy isn't being brought to the discussion. It's Steph fucking Curry's. That's why I don't like that shit. Like, that's when like, back in 95 when Dennis Rodman was sabotaging fucking David Robinson in that West Conference Finals. Like, that's shit I don't like. I do not like that kind of shit. I know I'm sounding like Chief Keef, but whatever. I hate that shit so much.
I do not want Dylan Brooks to prosper in this, and by the whole team by proxy. Like, you don't get to win this year, not this year. No, right. And
also, we peeped this early, like in the year. Like, there are a few teams, and it's been a while since we kind of had this. Where like there's like 3 or 4 teams in one conference where like everybody fucking hates them. Like in 2014, before the Warriors ever won anything, it was like the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Rockets. Everybody hated all 3 of them. And then like this year, like, and then none of them ever won shit. And it's like, okay, so now we're at the point now where we had like, we had Memphis that was talking shit. You had, who else? There were 2 other teams
Pelicans.
in the West. Say again?
I think the Pelicans.
I can't remember. I have to go back to the time. I have to pull it up in the chat, but like, it was like time where like, there were 3 teams that were all doing a bunch of this. And it was like, hey man, y'all ain't won nothing. Like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but like people will remember.
Well, you gotta shut the fuck up, like.
Right? People will remember like that. We find in the West shit. Like, okay, all right. Don't get your ass bounced out the first round. And I love John. I've told you this before. Like, if I was 18 or 17 or whatever else, I'd probably have 3 different John Morant jerseys. He'd be my favorite player in the league. But this is the shit you want to bring on upon yourself. You didn't have to say none of this stuff at all.
I guess I'm a cranky old man. He's going on the other side.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, he's pulling straps out on kids.
Yeah, like, and suing them and shit, like, counter suing them. Like, that's just not honorable. That's just lame. That's just super lame. Suns and Clippers. Russell Westbrook. All the heart in the world. Love to see it. Another for the corpse of Chris Paul. Add that to what he got going on.
It's funny. He actually shot a better shooting percentage from the field than Westbrook did in that game.
Look, of course, Chris Paul shot a better percentage. That's his thing.
No. I mean, like the part where it's like, yeah, this dude actually like made more shots. Look, like, you can say what you want to, but yeah,
that's his thing. Percentages, PER, efficiency, all that. And then
I get your joke, but when you out here and you make 3 of 19, I'm not really going for you're doing so great. It's especially when like people were talking about it like as like this, almost like it was like a vindication of Westbrook's last 2 years. When it's like, bro, it's not even the last 2 years. He hasn't been out the first round since 2016. No,
he has. They won the series in the bubble.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. So he's passed one, and then he got sent home in 5 against the Lakers. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's won one playoff series since 2016.
But I was very happy to see Russ get all the love at the end. I didn't see this whole game, so you probably take this one.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the game, he was like in a rover type of thing where he was slacking off of whoever was defending him, and he was playing with that was the best defensive game I've ever seen him play. And he had 2 crucial offensive rebounds at the end of the game that swung the game flat out. Like he played awfully, and I thought that he was gonna. There was a time when he subbed in directly for Kawhi, and I was like, this is gonna cost him the game. Like he shouldn't be back in this game. He ended up coming around with those 2 great offensive rebounds. He got lucky by not getting called for the foul by fouling Booker on the wrist, but whatever, referee angle, you know how that is. Sometimes you get the call, sometimes you don't based on the refs.
We ain't giving Devin Booker no respect out here. What has he earned in this league?
Well, I mean, it's a foul, but he missed the call. He missed the call. It is what it is.
It's the playoffs.
He missed the call, and then Westbrook was able to play through still had the wherewithal, while fouling him, knowing he fouled him, and still playing through it to get the ball, and then catch it, and while he's going to bounce it off of Booker. Great play. He got away with one, but great play. That happens all the time. Refs don't get all the calls, as we know in the playoffs. So yeah, I don't know what. I will say this. I want to see game 2 and see what the Suns do as far as their 3-point shooting, because one thing straight up, with all that whole entire era with Chris Paul, they've been this great mid-range shooting team, and that's great. But they lost the finals to math. They lost it. They don't shoot enough threes. They lost them, and then they lost last year because the Mavs shot a bunch of threes, and they lost to math again. They lost this game because they only made 6 threes.
Does Monty Williams is he aware of this? Is he trying to trying to take it back to the old school? Is this has Byron Scott AI replaced him? Well, he said we need to shoot less threes. Have we checked on his pulse? Is he alive on the sidelines?
Well, one thing I've thought is his offense is so good, and he does make adjustments throughout the game, but the adjustments are to get good shots in the spots that his players prefer, which is more mid range. But it's that's cool. You're losing the math, and you watch that game, and it's they were behind because Durant started very slow with the heckling from Westbrook, and then he was able to adjust. But after that, the Clippers were outplayed after that stretch. But you just look at the box score, and you're just they're losing this game. They're losing this game to math, and it's they lost their last 2 series to math, and it's all right.
I feel
when is the lesson going to be learned that you have to shoot? You're going to have to make 12 to 23s in a game to win series in this era.
I feel like the Suns, and I could be wrong about this, but this feels like a classic case of the people stuff is going to eventually do them in. And what I mean by that is obviously
the personalities, as far as
the hierarchy of the team, the dynamics, and one, the center doesn't like the coach. Chris Paul's aging and decaying, and there's nothing that he can do about that, obviously, because that's the circle of life in the league.
Yeah.
However,
well, Rich,
he's waving people off he's waving Kevin Durant and Booker off.
Did he wave them off, or was it just this is the offense they ran, and then he just sat in the corners? Either way, it's a problem. Either way, you can't look
taking the mid range instead of giving it to them.
I understand that Chris Paul getting a screen from Ayton and then going to the right side of the floor and shooting a pull up mid range. You've seen him make 1 million of those. You don't expect him to ever miss them. He missed 2 or 3 of them in a row. You can't. He's the 3rd best player on the team now. He can't, unless he's knocking the shots down, you can't just force feed. You can't just go back to that. I understand the shots all look good. He's made 1 million times, but when they don't go in, then you gotta be all right, now we need to put Booker into that. Or, Westbrook is playing behind Booker historically has an issue with like guys playing behind the screens because you saw that happen with the Clipper series 2 years ago in the West Conference Finals with Pat Bev. All right, put Durant into it now. It has to go to one of them two.
And then, like, you know, just last year, Devin Booker, this MVP candidate, best player on the team, and all this stuff. Like, how is this? Everybody not Klay Thompson. When Kevin Durant comes in there, all that shit changes. I wonder how he's feeling about, like, you know, all this stuff. And then they've killed their depth. Like they've, you know, Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges are no longer there.
Yeah.
So like that bench gets real weak. And I think when you add up all those things, yeah, this is just one game. They can figure it all out. But yeah. I feel like that's ultimately going to do them in at some point. Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, like, yeah, like, okay, so they have that. They also have the whole time ever since Sarge tore his ACL in that finals, they haven't had a capable big man. Like the Bismack Biyombo thing, he can still submit us, but it's not like he's a quality big man in the NBA by these standards now. And, you know, they're out here to search for whoever they can play minutes when Aiden's off the floor, and they're hurting when Aiden's not on the floor. And then they're losing, and they're also losing this math game. Like they're fairly flawed in that way. Like, a lot of things have to go, like, just perfectly, like, nothing can go bad, otherwise they're fucked. And, like, and the margins, as you keep going further and further and further, the margins get thinner and thinner and thinner, and then something happens, and then you lose.
And also, they were riding the ghost of that game last year. And I know the team's mostly turned over, but the three people that were there with the coach, don't nobody lose like that in a game 7 and get just absolutely destroyed on your home floor like that, and then comes back and like, you know what, we're putting it all together this year. That was a back-breaking, franchise-altering loss to likes I've almost never seen before. I would be shocked if we were talking about the Phoenix Suns in 2 months, lifting the trophy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that necessarily. What I will say is the Durant trade isn't for, like, trying to run this, is about extending the window post Chris Paul. It's not actually about Chris Paul. So, like, that was always what the trade was about. It was about, like, Durant and Booker moving forward, and if they can do it while Chris is still there, great. If not, then we'll figure it out what to do with his cap space once he's off the books and we moved on from him and he's retired or whatever else. So, yeah, like, this nucleus will change. Like, this might be Chris Paul's last year there. Who knows? Because there were, you know, people talking about, like, he was floated around, like, throughout from the off season last year until now trade about deadline. Being traded.
Yeah. Aside from that, I don't really know anything else that was, like, worth going into discussion.
Oh, I mean, hey man, you would have loved Saturday's game between Kings and Warriors in Sacramento.
Oh yeah,
unless you have PTSD because you hate the Kings, but outside of that, like,
I do hate the Kings.
I know, yeah, but like,
how was that arena though?
I did miss that crowd.
Was it like back in the day?
No, because there were no stupid fucking cowbells.
Okay.
So it's not the same, but it's still like I remember when this place used to be fucking rocking, right? Like, and like they didn't have the annoying cowbells, and they were wearing like the all white shirts, and it was cool.
I remember when that shit was silent too in Game 7. When Stojakovic was shooting them air balls.
Chris Webber getting the ball overtime in Game 7, and he out here getting the ball in the fucking elbow and never turning to face the rim. Yeah,
you know that we got the home court advantage. We're not losing to them. Oh, we lost. we play hard for Game 7 in our building. We're gonna win.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Black Saber said there were a few Cowboys. That's true. There were a few, but it's not the same thing. And like one thing I will say is interesting was like seeing like the open and seeing like the crowd, because it was a lot like the way it was overflowed and crowded. It was almost like the Toronto Jurassic Park, like, you know, people outside watching the game type of thing. Mm-hmm. And like there were so many like Jason Williams jerseys and like Chris Webber jerseys and whatever. And I was like, damn, bro, I don't see a single DeMarcus Cousins jersey. What the fuck?
Oh, man, a loser. Why?
But it's like, but that's also the best player on your team for like in the last decade. So you'd be like, you imagine you see some, but it's like, nah, we're pulling these shits out from 04.
Yeah,
From
bro.
02.
That man.
Jason Williams from 01.
55.
Yeah. Like when I saw that 55, like I saw the Weber jersey, right? I saw a Weber jersey. Okay. Obviously. And I said 55, I was like, I know damn well I do not see 2 Jason Williams jerseys. And I was like, those are Jason Williams jerseys. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was raw, man. He was raw back in the day, but
look,
any Bibby? No Bibby?
Huh?
There wasn't no Bibby jerseys out there?
I didn't see any Bibby jerseys. I thought it was surprising too. But it was fun to see like Vladi was there and like Bobby Jackson was there. And I almost made me ask like, where's Turkaloo? But, whatever. But I will say like it was a fun crowd and the game was just crazy. Like, I had saw the Kings play earlier in the year and like they're a fun watch and like Fox is great and Sabonis is great, but like Sabonis in this game would like against in this matchup, like he has trouble like trying to muscle like Looney, like because I don't know if you like ever looked at like Looney over the years. He's gotten progressively bigger and bigger.
He's an ox, bro.
Right.
Like all they've
Compared to
done
how
is
skinny
ask
he
that
used to
man.
be?
Bro, all they've done is ask that man to play very like clean up style basketball with like basically doing all the dirty work, and he's played in a lot of high level games over the years. Yeah. He's the perfect person for that.
He just got a dump off dunk just now.
Look at that.
But yeah, like you just look at like when he first got into the league and you look at now and it's like, yeah, he's definitely put on like what 15, 20 pounds and like it's hard to move him. And then also like, the magical thing with Draymond and also like Barnes back in the day was like, you just like these, like, what the fuck are they doing in these weight rooms where like they have these dudes that are so much stronger than they actually look, in stature. But especially like Sabonis having trouble trying to muscle them. So like the most he could really do it, like, so he was like, he couldn't get to his spot. Like he's about an inch off a spot where he wants to like, finish and he has to finish over the top of him. And he would like just miss miss some shots that you think he normally make. So he didn't play well, but like it didn't matter because Malik Monk was like, I got it. And they were having trouble guarding Malik Monk, and they have not a single solitary soul that can stay in front of De'Aaron Fox. Not Wiggins, not Gary Payton Jr. And I was like, if Gary Payton Jr. can't guard him, like this, like the whole, like he scored 30 or damn near 40 or whatever else, like that might be like every other game thing in this series. Cause like he did play like about as perfect as he can play, but like it was like you just can't fundamentally they can't stay in front of him.
Yeah.
Even without a screen.
Well, I guess from there
Steph was fucking awesome in that game. Like I thought Steph, do you see the shot he got to try to tie it up?
No.
Bro. He caught the ball 1 foot, 1 hand. I thought it was going in. He missed. From 3. I thought it was going in.
I mean, of course we thought it was going in. It's Steph Curry.
But no. I mean, it looked good come out of his hand, though. But it was a 1 foot, 1-hander. Like, he shot like a fucking floater. He shot a 3-point like a floater. I thought it was going in, Rich.
Steph.
Yeah, man, like... So what I will say is like I would very much suggest you like watch this series because it's going to be just up and down ping-ponging. Just up and down. Like there were stretches in the game where they were just like probably like the shot clock for like up and down on both ways like 4 times. If the shot clock probably never got below like 15 for like basically 8 straight possessions. It was fun as hell. So yeah, if you get a chance, watch that series.
Yeah, man. I guess we should move forward though into the world of pro wrestling. So this news kind of comes in kind of conjunction with the imminent return of CM Punk to AEW and rumors about a Saturday show for AEW. I don't know if it's TNT or TBS or anything like that, but Andy is like very involved in this, and they were told that CM Punk would be back, and there's the idea of like some type of like soft brand split or like keeping people away from people. Nothing's been settled amongst these people yet. There has been no, I don't think any resolution or anything like that. I think Chris Jericho and CM Punk were set to have some meeting, about whether they work together and everything like that. Jericho running a play from a mile away. I think we should have been able to see that coming. I think, in some group chats, I had said Punk should just come in and work with Jericho and he can do all the shoot interviews and shit he wants. They can shoot on each other and promos and shit. But I don't know, man. This all still feels really, adding a second show. I'm not.
No. They're adding a third show, Rich. They're adding a third show.
Another 2-hour show. Sorry.
I just want to make people know that like they're choosing to go to 7 hours of this 5 hours of the shit.
Yeah, like there was a lot of stuff on Twitter this past week. With Brandon Cutler dunking on or retweeting some article about from Deadspin where CM Punk's gaslighting AEW. There was it seems to still be like just a lot of like unresolved bad energy beyond all this. And
what did he do with his account after like people basically read what he said?
I think he just deleted the tweet.
Okay, I didn't know if he went like private or what happened, or if he. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I just know he did something with the tweet.
Yeah,
or something with the account.
They as far as like CM Punk, I'm not under any resolution like to where I'm going to say anything that is going to quote unquote stop him from coming back or anything. Mm-hmm. This all feels like wrong. This all kind of feels like what is going on here? Like, and then you add in the combo of Dax Harwood and all his podcast stuff with publicly campaigning for CM Punk and the Elite and FTR to have this big 6-man tag match and everything like that. And it's like Dave talked about it. The idea of like the doing all the PR stuff with this and putting this match out in public, and it's like a Machiavellian play to kind of swing public perception. And I think it's working to an extent. And it's like, hey, the Elite don't want to work with you guys. If I'm the Elite, I don't think I give you the satisfaction, and I don't blame them for not wanting to work with him.
I didn't hear that people wanted the traction of doing it outside of, it's a good program because obviously people know what happened and it, controversy breeds cash, that sort of thing. I never really thought people were like really clamoring for it in that way. But okay. I just, I never thought Punk was coming back. Rich, will you vouch for that? I always thought he was coming back, right?
You thought he was coming back or wasn't?
I always thought he was coming back. I was always saying like, bro, Tony Khan wants this dude back. That's why he's not talking about this. Because if he didn't want him back, he would just like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, I think this is a gross miscalculation. I think it's going to end up costing them the Elite one day, and it's going to be ugly. And then I wonder what the dynamics are around this return. Like, Chris Jericho is like currently a heel right now. CM Punk's going to come back in. I don't know if they're going to like, I don't get the vibe that CM Punk wants to be booed or anything. I think he'll do it if they ask him, but I don't think people are going to react to him well. So if he's coming back and getting pushed as a babyface, I think a lot of the fans, or a sizable portion, will be like, why are we behind you? Like, I think they're going to torpedo him. And it'll be as simple as like, Chris Jericho has been from this company from day one. He started with it. He went through the pandemic. He did all this stuff, establishing the company. He did all this stuff when you fucked the money. And no one is talking about what CM Punk actually did, like in the, in that press conference, which was just radioactive in so many ways. I think it's unsettled. Like, and this is a guy that has not only violated that one time, that was like the,
that was at least the second time.
That was at least the second time. And then that Instagram post,
right?
Again, and it's like, all right, when he comes back, are we just counting down to number 4? And it's like he's not that much of a to me, he's not that much of a difference maker to where you have to necessarily tolerate that shit. Like, and knowing that he's about to be 45 years old, knowing that he's broken up like this, I feel like this is just, it's a ticking time bomb that's going to go off. And it's just amazing, the timing of all this. They were saying, he would pop up right after the playoffs were over. He wanted to get this stuff out in the news the second, Dynamite. Every time CM Punk news comes out, it's on a Wednesday for Dynamite, and either like the Elite is like doing something big or something like that. Like, people have tracked these things. Like, there's like at least 4 different occasions I can recall of this. Those all-in tickets, started getting, out for the public, which went up to 50,000. Apparently, before all them shit start going on sale, it's no shock CM Punk's trying to slide back in there. So it's like, I don't know, man. All this stuff feels real nasty and uncomfortable. And I think if you are riding with this company from day one, and you're all those top guys, the Elite, Moxley, Jericho, you have a argument to say you helped build this company, you helped sustain this company, and you helped recover the pieces from this company that this guy fucked up. And it's like this house that was on 4 pillars, to make a joke there, and he knocked in 2 of them and with that shit in the press conference, and that shit has to get rebuilt still. Like, it's still a process. And if you could get all these guys to settle this thing, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome, because like, no one, I don't think anybody, if you're a big time CM Punk fan, you don't want to feel like CM Punk is being done wrong here. You don't want to, if you're a big Elite fan, I'm a big Elite fan. Like, you don't want to potentially look up and see these guys out of the company because they decide, or Tony Khan decided, like, yo, I'm gonna look the other way, like, for the 4th or 5th time, while this guy like does something that brings either shame or just flat out is not good for the company. And I don't know, man. It's real weird. It's real weird, and it's very awkward. And when he comes back, it's only going to get worse. Dave Meltzer's always talked about this decision that Tony Khan had to make, and it just seems like the decision to bring him back is linked to another one.
What do you think that is?
It's like, I feel like you're going to have to pick between the Elite and him. And then the Elite is not just like, I think it has gone understated Hangman Page's role in all this, because he's not the only, or those other 3 guys are not the only people with contracts. I think Hangman's, is kind of like all in that same thing too. The Elite are gone, like your Kenny Omega and Young Bucks and stuff like that. And they've already sent this message like, well, we're just going to stand by CM Punk like that. Where do you stand in that case? Like, don't you like be like, yeah, I think I'm a Bucktown too. So like, disgusting. And like, no one wants to talk about it. It's just like, these people need to do business. They need to find a way to make money. And I think I've gotten so tired of hearing those arguments from people, because A, we don't make any of that money, so they're pocket watching. B, these people are all multimillionaires. I'm sure they're not poor. 2 or 3, why? If these people, like, usually we're getting a couple different arguments. Like, if you're someone that is out here like, yeah, man, these fake ass wrestlers, these young bucks, the young sucks, this Kenny Omega sucks, and whatever. It's like, it's real funny, like, how the only person you want this man CM Punk to wrestle is them. Real ironic, I think. So, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place here, but I don't know. What do you think about all this, James?
Yeah, look, I always thought he was coming back because it made sense for him to come back. If CM Punk, if him playing favorite, or if Tony Khan playing favorites with CM Punk causes Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to take their ass to WWE, then I got to tell you, I got a feeling that Tony Khan would treat them better than Vince McMahon would in Endeavor. But whatever, maybe they don't matter. They just want to get away, and if that's what they so choose, then good luck, Young Bucks, in trying to figure out how to fit into the ladder match that they have at WrestleMania for the tag teams. So like, for me, it's like, I'm good with whatever they want to do. If they want to leave for that reason, then that's unfortunate. I wish they would stay in AEW, but whatever. But like, at some point, All Elite Wrestling, whether it's next year, 5 years, 10, 20 years from now, like, it will be eliteless wrestling. Now it sucks that if it was to happen earlier, obviously.
I think that's a totally different circumstances, whether it's retirement, whether it's like choosing to do something else in your career than being like ran out of the company. I think we talked about that before.
But okay, so to me, their contracts are all up. They're all going to get pay raises, regardless of wherever they go. Like, I know the perception will be CM Punk ran him off, but that's not the reality either way. Reality is, I got paid more money to stay or to go. I don't want to deal with this shit. I'll go here for now, and I might come back once Punk 45-year-old ass is done. 45-year-old ass is done with this. So, like, for me, like, if that's what they want to do, I think that sucks for my wrestling watching, but that's what they want to do. I just don't like the whole thing of split rosters and all that kind of stuff.
Sounds like a bad idea. Well, first off, the 2 hour, another show is a bad idea. No one's even watching the second show. Like, if the idea is you hold out Rampage so much and no one's even watching it, and now we kind of need to reboot, and we're going to, like, you know, go back to CM Punk and Jericho being on, what's the name of his third show? I forgot already. Collision.
Being on Collision, and like, they'll go from there, and like, they'll even probably throw Adam Cole on that thing, and maybe even Jay White. Okay, you got something there, whatever else. I'm still have concerns about like what they'll be able to draw running a second show or whatever else. Even on the weekends, I still have concerns about that and what these crowds will look like. Obviously, they'll be preempted a whole bunch for, you know, different sports stuff all the time.
Lots of preemptions. They may actually do better at the gates because it is a weekend show.
That's true.
However, the TV business, where this business actually matters, that they'll be preempted like crazy by the NBA, by WWE once a month, by UFC, or in competition with them. The NBA playoffs, any other playoff, like Saturday NFL stuff, like it seems like
college football.
Good God. It seems like Saturday is a big ask, and
kind of, but look, one thing I will say for all the people that were, you know, dooming and glooming about Warner Brothers Discovery,
I think they got to shut the fuck up though, right?
It's over now.
Yeah.
So now this is a topic of conversation as opposed to the doom and gloom of, oh my God, they're not getting another deal. They're getting another fucking TV show.
Yeah.
They're getting another one.
And like Warner's behind this. It's not like,
right.
You know, and I think we should squash some stuff. It wasn't like, hey, can you create us another show for CM Punk to like keep him? That I don't think happened.
No.
I think what happened was Warner was like, yo, we'd like to get you guys are doing so well. You know, let's see, you know, you guys think you can give us some more? And then, you know, Tony Khan, like many other promoters before him,
was like, great, this also can help me solve my locker room issue too.
Well, yeah, he was like that, but he was like, I'll take the extra money, the extra hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, like you said, this can help, you know, solve whatever locker room issue there is.
One thing I will say, hey, Ring of Honor, Honor Club, Like,
makes it kind of
is it a reason for this to exist anymore now?
Yeah, it makes it kind of like they're doing cool things. I think
would it be crazy if they just like, obviously it's AEW still, whatever else, you're going to have, you know, certain champions on there, whatever else, but like, would people bat an eye given how many different titles they've had defended from different promotions in AEW? Would people like freak out if like most of the belts, the Ring of Honor belts, were defended just on Saturday AEW show? Like, will people freak out over that?
I think people have PTSD over the letters ROH.
But I mean, like, in good faith, not like the stupid, like, the bullshit that, like, you know, Bischoff is doing, was like, oh my God, the TBS title is being, you know, defended on TNT. And it's like, motherfucker, you had Kensuke Sasaki win the fucking US title from WCW in Sumo Hall. I'm sorry. What's the problem? You the trendsetter. We following your footsteps.
Yeah. Look, they've got, I think ROH has their own kind of thing going on. Like, Shibata's a regular there. Vikingo's almost a semi-regular.
Right.
Claudio's over there. Athena's doing great
Lucha
work.
Bros are tag champions.
Lucha Bros are tag team champions. So it's like, there's a reason for it, you know, because you got so many wrestlers, and I don't know. It seems like, you know, they've made it to this point, and maybe they've made it to this point where, and we've got to allow them to kind of stretch their wings with it, rather than be like, nah, you can't have another show. Because, like, no one would tell WWE they couldn't have another show. They have 3 on television every week, you know, regardless of if one's a developmental or not. They send people to that show to work on that show all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, you know, if it's ROH or, if it's Rampage for an hour, if there's a 2-hour Saturday show, I think it's on them to get creative enough to fill it and, like, to make it worthwhile. You got a lot you can do with that Rampage hour. You can turn that into, you know, you can have the women, like, hold that thing down if you want. Like, people that you can use one of these shows as, like, a vignette building show. You already know you're not under pressure on Friday nights to really, like, deliver big ratings or anything like that. So it's like,
also,
right,
didn't they do a good rating this past
packages.
Week?
They did a great rating this past week.
And I heard that show wasn't good.
I didn't see it. But they had, I think it was a 0.21, and I think they did like 631,000. So, I don't know.
That sounds like the best rating they've done in a while.
Yeah. So that lead in kind of helped. But, you know, I heard there was like 10 minutes of commercials before the show started. So, you know, who knows how effective that lead in was. But, as far as, like, you know, I hope it gets settled one way or another. I think CM Punk should publicly apologize, you know, for that press conference. Because to me, that's the issue. Like, niggas fight all the time. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, they went through that, and they're probably, all of them will never forget it. It will never be right or whatever, right? But the damage that he did publicly to the company that people are refusing to acknowledge for whatever reason, and also saying that he doesn't need to say anything about it, and it's like, well, I feel like we're back at square one here. Like,
well, I mean, the people that are saying that are being disingenuous. Like, right? Like, even while I'm saying, like, hey, man, this isn't the shit that gets someone sent out. That's the level of star he is, and the promotion he's in. Like, there is a thing where, like, hey, if you fuck up in public, you gotta apologize for it in public as well. That's PR 101.
Look, and this man lives by that mantra, James.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the apology must be as loud as the disrespect, you know, a man once said. So, you know, is this me being an elite fan that wants a pound of flesh? Well, maybe a little bit. You know, I ain't gonna cap. But it's like...
But it's also just flat out just, it's like, the reality of,
wrong,
like, how to handle this. Yeah.
Like, it's wrong. No one would act like this. Like just be cool, you know?
At minimum, he was unprofessional as fuck. At minimum. So it's like, hey, you hurt the promotion, you hurt the company that you were working for. How about you, like, bring your ass back on screen and apologize for hurting the promotion that you work for? You asshole.
They don't
like,
have
it's
to
very
do it even
simple.
on the television show. They can upload a video to YouTube for all I care. Just like they uploaded the Scrum to YouTube. Do that. Like, that's... Play it on Dark Elevation. Who gives a fuck? Like...
Nah, he has to... Look, because here's the thing. There's going to be a time he gets a microphone, and people want to hear what he has to say. For that first promo, at the very least. That needs to be the time when he says it. Not on YouTube. When he's on TV again, he has a microphone in his hand. He has to address why he's been, or what's been going on since he's been gone, and the injury, and, you know, like the title situation that he left out of, and why he's not going after that title again, and all the other stuff. So, like,
should he get a 2-month suspension too, James? Should he get a 2-month suspension too when he's cleared?
Now, we just saw, who was it? Just recently, just got a 30-game NBA suspension for some type of domestic assault, and like 20 of the games were already served. He basically got time served. Like, I want to see the CM Punk suspension, and it should be time served. That would be the best, because it's like, oh yeah, he spent the whole time. He was injured, you asshole. He was able to come back. He was physically able to come back. Like, I would love to be like, well, no, you know, because, you know, we would have brought it back, you know, to do commentary. So this is time served. I want to see all this stuff, because some of that stuff is gonna be like, all right, well, let's see the accounting of what you know, the damage that took place from him doing that stuff, regardless of whether I felt like he was justified to at least throw a shot back the first time. Like, he took it too far the second and third time. But like, yeah, like, I want to see like what this all is, and like what he's gonna be able to get away with, and how people are going to lose their minds and discourse past that. But the main thing is, like, I lose it is like, hey, he fucked up. He should have to come and apologize. And ultimately, like, if you're that level of star, if you come out and apologize, like, you kind of can just come back. Like, that's kind of how it works. I'm not just saying for CM Punk. I mean, like, if Kenny Omega got himself in this kind of bullshit, he was on the wrong side of it this way, like, he should be able to come back if he apologizes, because he's that level of star. So, for that,
all this goes on, these three, or, you know, these other things, like the Elite has remained pretty much silent on all this, and
they probably just want to go the fuck away.
Like, I don't know whether that is like for the best or not, but, you know,
you think it's not for the best for them not to handle it this way?
I think
they're being professional by not talking about it and moving the fuck on.
I think they did do the promotion a lot of favors about it, because people already can't shut the fuck up, and it's just like CM Punk bombarding Sean Ross Sapp like twice a month, or his camp, excuse me, or Dax, or excuse me, but it is I don't know, from their perspective, it's like, what do they like? I don't think they gain anything really here, and it's just like, I don't know, man. You know, it is interesting though. The way Dax Harwood is again left out in the cold, trying to campaign publicly for this match and all this shit, when like the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club is like set to like dominate the summer, and it's largely going to be the same outline of a program, likely with better matches, more draws across the board, like that, and people that sell tickets, you know, to the arenas and shit like that across the board on both sides.
Well, yeah, on one, because on one side you have, you know, two gigantic draws in Danielson or two big draws for the company in Danielson and Moxley, and then on the other end you just have CM Punk. Like, now I will give, but the thing with like Dax is not a next level worker. Like, we see everything he's trying to do, and that's why like it doesn't work, and that's why people are always like, hey man, like, he knock it the fuck off, and it's like, nah man, we're really weighing our options. We might go back to WWE. We might leave. And it's like, no,
we didn't believe you at all.
Don't believe you. No one fell for that for a second. And that's how he's getting, you know, back and forth with Meltzer.
Alvarez.
Yeah. And Alvarez, where it's like, bro, like the play you are trying to work people on, like everybody sees that as transparent. Like, this is what you're trying to do. Like, this you're not doing 4D chess. Like, you're doing like the regular, you're doing the basic ass 2D. Like, this isn't Metal Gear. Like, what you're doing is fucking Street Fighter 2, not even Turbo, just the original Street Fighter 2 out the box. And look, they're great at what they're doing, right? But it's like, nah, man, this ain't the 80s where people are just gonna, oh my God. No. So like him campaign for that thing is like, it's fucking transparent. It's very similar to like me being able to spot out them winning the belts back, and then like they're gonna eventually have an acclaim match where they get their win back.
Reeks of desperation, don't it?
But the thing is like, but that's what we're saying is like, look, bro, it's obviously what you're trying to do. Like, you want to be in a big match because like you are trying to get yourself to that level of draw to where if you have enough big matches, you do become a draw eventually, right? And I'm wrong. They have great matches, but they just have like, as far as a draw, like to where they're on the level of like rivaling the Young Bucks' draws for the company, they're not that. Matches with them in this position will help do nothing but help them get to that. And we see that's why you want the match. Like, you're not, you know what?
And
you're not
like,
faking anybody out here.
You want the political positioning, like you want the protection that aligning yourself.
Let's be real.
Publicly and
they
privately.
They want a main event of a pay-per-view for once.
Yeah.
Don't knock them. Everybody should aspire for that. But
everybody should aspire for that. But also, like, there's ways to do it with honor. There's ways to do it to where you don't look like a clown, where you don't come off here like the lamest man in the world.
It is a way to do it without being like, hey, bro, like when we look back on time, bro, we'll be like, hey, man, this is about CM Punk and not you and not y'all at all. Y'all are his friend. That's nice.
This is
but like this is really, really like, this is really some Shawn Michaels friend type of shit.
Look, awesome. They have awesome matches, whatever. Like I if they have a good match or something, I'll come on here and tell you. I'll sing their praises or whatever. I put I want to say their first match. I think I put it at like my number 8 match last year, some shit like that.
Against
FTR Briscoe's one.
Yeah. Super.
I thought that was the best one of the 3, but the patience that I have for Dax and his entire brand of social media and how he conducts himself with his podcast. And to be fair to him, I came across a couple of the clips. A lot of the things are written aren't exactly what he says. Like, in the headlines that come out, they just look way worse because the topics he's broaching. And it's like, he's done all this shit where, if you look at a Dax Harwood, right, and you see his career, right, he's been around through NXT. Yep. When there's that Full Sail, like he was like kind of like an enhancement guy. Then they got, the gimmick, the revival. They had a run there. They kind of ascended to kind of star level in NXT. And then, they were working the WWE main roster for a while, won the belts a couple times, and, they don't really care about the belts or anything there, but they had lots of like, house show matches that people would talk about with like American Alpha or Rude and Gable and shit like that. And of course they've got the Raw 25 thing and all the people that they come across with that. They've got the jump to AEW. They've got the initial arrival to AEW. They got some of the matches that they had that are kind of in the past in AEW, but like, it seems like he speed ran his whole career essentially in this short time he's had this show. And I'm only hearing it from afar because I don't listen to the show. But what it seems like, perception wise, he speed ran a lot of this shit, and now he's just, this is a CM Punk propaganda wing, in certain cases, and then it's a Dax Harwood in the state of professional wrestling. Like, it's like, bro, when I saw that, I'm like, your podcast is done now. Like, why do I want to hear you talk about the current state of professional wrestling and then people you're actively working with and knowing the damage that could cause as far as like working with people in the way people run with anything regarding this promotion. We talked about it several times. People will believe anything about AEW when headlines we done ran, and it's like putting you at odds with someone like a Jungle Boy, and then the headline looks way worse than the article. People don't even read articles; they just see headlines, and it all becomes like, I know people in the promotion more than you think, and it's just, I don't gather that there's a lot of reverence for how, his get down with that. And it's like, you look at other people with podcasts, they're not getting into this kind of shit.
I mean, they're also not like imagining the people doing podcasts talking about the state of pro wrestling while they're in the fucking pro wrestling state right now. That's like you mentioned, you have to work with these fucking people. Right? And like, your opinion is your opinion, but like, that doesn't mean like you should give your opinion at all times or at specific times about certain things. Like, like imagine you just come out and be like, I'm just honest all the time. You're going to not have too many friends in life going forward, or people that like want to do things for you that you need help with in life to get through life. Like, if you're going to be honest all the time, that's not how that works. I have no interest in listening to any of the Dak stuff. Like, when I hear about he's doing a tag team, all-time tag team thing, and, he has the Dudleys as his 2 seed, like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? But, outside of that, I don't really hear anything else about it, so it doesn't really, come across. But, like, from time to time, I'll see what you were talking about, like, or see the things that happen online regarding him, and I'm just like, see, like, he has built a persona for himself. Whether he intended to or not, he has built a persona for himself, and it's not flattering. Like, I don't know his relationship with the people, or his level of, let's say, relationship with everybody, but it's like, I don't know, unless you are like, the top star, or you are like, someone that everybody loves. I don't really know if you can like really be talking about the state of professional wrestling like that. It's just weird. I don't know, man. And that's, and especially in the context of like the CM Punk stuff he's in with, or the CM Punk stuff when he's connected to CM Punk more than anybody else, in the company publicly. After this happened,
it's like, what's it going to look like? And this whole thing has been based on perception, and from what we were talking about. And CM Punk's perception that people were sabotaging him, which seems not true, but I don't know. I wasn't there. Right. And the perception that CM Punk helped get rid of Colt Cabana,
which we like also still don't know for his fact is true. Right. This is like Colt
do
Cabana,
I believe that? Do I believe he did that? No. Like, I think,
or not cut, but moved to ROH. Sorry.
Like, I think everyone is looking at the wrong person. You need to look at Tony Khan. Like, this could be settled really easy.
Tony Khan, he doesn't answer none of this shit. So like, everybody's left to guess or whatever else. And like, that's the bad thing, is like, he hasn't, not even publicly for us, but like, he has not, or actually he has told people like, nah, that has nothing to do with it. Just no one believes him. Mm-hmm. Because why would you? Because CM Punk comes in, they don't know CM Punk outside of the reputation that he came into this late. Like, maybe if this was, if he came in day one, like they wanted it to, but like he wanted, to see how real the shit was going to be before, like, it turns into like an embarrassment thing on him if it doesn't work out. Then maybe they do have more reason to believe him. But it's like, this is a foreign this is a foreign entity coming in, and like, we have, much like what's happened with a lot of the fan base whenever there's a new person comes in that used to be in WWE, is like, do we trust him? Is he one of us? Does he have, Fed brain? Like, you see a lot of that, fair or unfair otherwise. You see a lot of that with like a lot of the hardest like fan bases of inside of AEW. So yeah, like, I'm assuming it also comes down to like the Kumbaya locker room that used to be there, and now is like, they're looking at NXT and they're like, they're treating this like it's actually pro wrestling instead of, a summer camp. We don't like this. So yeah, it's interesting to see how this all goes. And for me, it's just like, hey man, I don't give a fuck if y'all don't like each other. Go out there and fake fight each other already. Like, So how long have we been talking about CM Punk, the CM Punk situation, all of that for how long? It feels like we've been talking about for over a half hour at this point, right?
Was not timing it, but
yeah, it's been a minute. And it's like, the whole thing comes back to me is like, bro, unless it's going to revolve around someone getting violently hurt and have to be hospitalized or death, I don't care. Go out and wrestle. Go get together. Have Tony Khan book this person with this person. If they want to work with someone or work with this person, fine, we'll come up with something else. And then if you're not a big enough star to be able to get that exemption, fuck you, do it or leave and go from there. Like, I'm kind of at that point where like, all right, man, like so much has happened. Like Tony needs to like start putting his foot down with some of this shit with people. And like, you heard something that, Tony Khan has like said no to CM Punk on certain things, especially like him trying to get out of, or the alleged story around like the Rocky 3 thing with Moxley or whatever else is like, he needs to do more of that with these people.
We know what that was, though.
Go ahead.
Like, we know what that was. Like, John Moxley had all the power in that situation.
Right.
Like, he was he was not under contract. He had the belt. So, we were playing Mox's way,
right.
Essentially.
Right. But I'm saying, like, the part where, like, Punk is like, I don't know, whatever. All right. Like, that's how you feel, but this is what I need you to do. So, take your ass out there. And then what'd he do? He took his ass out there and got his ass rocked. Like, he needs to do more of that. Like, I feel like the wrestlers like have gotten too much as far as feeling like they can just have their feelings and be able to express it and hem and haw and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, hey man, everybody is going through some shit. Everybody is not happy with their position. There's a million super talented motherfuckers here. Like, are we going to sit here and pout and complain and do these fake, vague tweets online? Are we going to like try to say, fuck you, I'm better than what you think I am, I'm gonna show them and go out there and kill it? Like, I see more of the complaint tweets than going out there and kill it right now in AEW. And I feel like that's been kind of like what we've seen in a lot of like the middle class of AEW since the Punk stuff has happened. And like, it wasn't like that. And it wasn't like that before this, and like I wish like that shit would go away. I really do. It's exhausting.
Yeah. CM Punk needs to come back and atone for himself ultimately, I feel like. And if he doesn't do it, it's going to be weird and it's going to be eye-opening and it's going to be something to watch going into 2024.
In worst case scenario, I guess that means we can get Kenny Omega to go out here and get some more spite and spirit at WrestleMania 40.
Hell no.
But Rich. But look, you can say that Kenny Omega carried Roman Reigns to a 5-star match.
I think I'll pass on that.
You don't know? No?
Well, it won't hit.
You don't like the story of Kenny Omega, the guy that they say wrestled the blow up dolls and the 8-year-olds, whatever else, like become a Hall of Fame level wrestler, start, helps sell 10,000 seater independent show, help start a second American major promotion, and then ends up main eventing WrestleMania 40. You don't think that's is it a thing where like you just work, you won't finish the story or no, or just no?
Nah, like it's just like ill, like like disgusting. It's like
I know I laid it out. It's nasty. I know. I did it on purpose. I just don't want to see your reaction to it. You didn't like it. It's fine.
These fans that have vilified this man for pick your reason.
Right. But you know how that is. It's like, a lot of Lakers fans, you experience this. You hate LeBron's guts, and then he end up, coming over there, and then you won a title, and then just for a little minute, like, the Grinch heart, like, it grew 3 times bigger. It got smaller again immediately, but it grew 3 times bigger for a short amount of time. Y'all, you enjoyed the black and gold, like, championship t-shirts. You did. You did. I would like to see the Lakers fans get their LeBron James,
You stupid.
Oh, that would be the day that man signs the dotted line to go to Stanford. Oh, that will be a day. That will be a day online. That might be the last day of Twitter right there. Wrestling Twitter will shut this bitch down.
That might be the last y'all hear. For me, well, we gonna go ahead and lay it down. I appreciate y'all listening over the years, and I don't think I got nothing else for y'all. I'm done. We did get a question for a first time at Chatter. I wanted to talk about this. We were talking about people getting matches and stuff. Miss Queen Rotom says, I have a question. Do you see Cody Rhodes getting a rematch at SummerSlam against Roman Reigns for the titles? I don't. I think they're going to go back at WrestleMania.
You think they're going to go the whole year?
I think they're going to go a whole year.
Okay. So I don't necessarily think you have this like just plotted out, but like, how many Brock matches do you think he ends up having in his program?
Well, he's got one coming up like next month. I think they're going to do at least two.
Is that made it in the Puerto Rico show?
Yes, I would imagine so.
Okay, because I know Roman Reigns ain't doing that show. He's doing the.
He's not. No.
Yeah. Okay, so then like I guess that takes you to this. So do you think you do Brock again at? Well, it's May, or they'll take you to May.
I think they probably do that second match at SummerSlam.
Okay. Survivor Series, he can be fucking, Team USA, whatever else.
He'll be in War Games.
Oh yeah, sorry, War Games.
Against the Bloodline. Well, we got a lot of comments here. Man. Okay, we're gonna go. I'm gonna give the comment section lots of play.
Okay.
I'll start with Brewhaven, I'll start with Adam. He says, I don't think asking Punk to apologize works because it'll just be an empty apology. Brewhaven says,
look, people, when apologies are given, regardless of how sincere they are or not, or how well they're spoken, or how once you give an apology, it is not for people to automatically forgive you because of it. Like, if they choose to forgive you, cool. If they don't, that's their right.
It's almost like your thing to say, well, I put my part in. Like, it's asking CM Punk to put his part in,
right,
on fixing it.
Like an apology is literally we're asking you to do the bare minimum.
Right. Brewhaven says, I think Punk should get a chance to prove he's not an asshole. I mean, that's kind of CM Punk's thing.
CM Punk is not the first and will definitely not be the last asshole in the pro wrestling business. He knows that, even though saying that he knows that.
Yeah. Brewhaven also, the Elite keeping their yap shut was the best thing they can do. Zekamaki says, I don't believe Punk wasn't cleared either. Brewhaven, stay away from the bullshit and focus on what they can do. MJ does PR. They don't need to. Punk does. Brewhaven, BCC, and the Elite is going to bang. Wasabi King, Dead On, Rich. FTR Bald has no plan. Brewhaven, Dax is a shitty carny. Can Jericho teach him a thing or seven? Zekamaki, the moment he said Vince being back changed things for them, I knew it was a wrap. Well, here was the tip off. So we'll go back on that. But FTR, like, once they were making all that noise about, doing the thing in public, if they were signed to WWE, they wouldn't say shit because WWE doesn't allow you to say anything. Right. That's the giveaway.
Right. Because they want everything to be a surprise, and so they can bring you like into the fucking like bus and hide you off for hours, for like 4 hours before you actually come out during the show. Yeah. Instead of just like bring you to the locker room and you have your people say, hey, don't tell Meltzer or Sean Ross Sapp or Wade Keller or Mitchell anything. Just shut the fuck up and just come in and hang out with the guys. And then when it's your turn, you go out there. Like, yeah.
Yep. So moving down a little bit, Sheamus Nova doesn't help Bald as a Cornette sympathizer. Oh yeah, that's another thing.
I mean, that's for me. We've talked about enough on the show where like that, if you've watched us enough, that's baiting into why we kind of feel the way we do. And like, yeah, and I will say this, Cash did talk about that stuff and did the bare minimum to condemn the things that Cornette has said while acknowledging like, he said some terrible things. I don't agree with them and they're bad. But it goes back to like, but we enjoy some of his opinions. It's like, ain't nobody really trying to hear that part.
It's like they've decided to fight on that lie.
It's not worth it to talk about that part. It's like, hey, you know, some of these fascists that we have in the conservative, wing of this political, term, like, they have some good ideas too. It's like, we don't care about that. They're fascists.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Brewhaven, for a supposed old school guy, Dax doesn't seem very good at this whole working thing. Zekamai, the whole Punk getting rid of Cabana is all TK. TK hasn't spoken on it or even deaded the situation. Sheamus Nova didn't TK straight up say and apologize about the Colt thing? It was his call. I don't recall that. If you guys can
say again?
Produce that. He said, didn't TK straight up say and apologize about the Colt thing and say it was his call? I don't remember that. I
don't remember an apology, but I remember him saying, he was telling, the word was that he told people to, like, it had nothing to do with CM Punk. It was his own decision to send an ROH. The thing is, no one believed that, though.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, you know, I've talked about listening to what people say, and if they tell you, like, what they're saying, believe them, or, like, you can kind of decode what they're saying. Like, I feel like I felt like this from day one. It's just a lot of people perceiving things, like, and then Tony Khan's just sitting back like, how can I spin this?
And to be fair, it's like, there's how many wrestlers on that roster? He ain't got enough time in the day to be out here trying to, like, get everything straight with every single last motherfucker that's on this roster.
Wasabi King, everyone's still trying to find the line to cross with TK.
On Clay.
Wow. Revenge. Oh, you're getting rid of me? Wasabi King, everyone's still trying to find the lost.
7 years later, I'm back.
Yeah.
For sweet revenge.
Hey.
Never mind the part where you won like 3 times without me.
I'm back. I'm here now. Also, Russell Westbrook looking for revenge. We just can't eat. 7 years. So,
oh shit.
Time to define the line. TK, as Wasabi King says. Sheamus Nova, TK pulled the guns out on Swole and never took them back out. Shit's sad. TK needs to start being more strict. Brewhaven, WWE doesn't deserve 10% Kenny Omega. Rich ain't want to see the takeover 3 with Styles, Balor, and Kenny Omega. I do not know. Kenny would be like 40 or Omega. I don't know if that was a typo. Jesus Christ. LA Knight would have a better shot of main eventing WrestleMania. Jesus Christ. Kenny Alpha is on NXT 2.0. Kenny needs to earn it. Let WWE have Ricky Starks. Tennessee Sooner, this is nasty. But if Ibushi goes to AEW, Kenny's not leaving. Boo Boo Face when he has to put over the Miz. Indeed.
Look, I saw him go to a Thailand draw with an 8-year-old girl. I think that he can survive
the rough and toughness.
It would be stupid, but you get my point.
The thug and the mugging of the Miz, you know.
No, you know how he stole Danielson's kicks. How he stole Brian's kicks, bro. You ready for the M trigger, bitch?
The M trigger? What?
The M trigger, yes.
I mean, we already had the M trigger with Mandy Rose, you know. Oh, the Boo Boo Face comment was in reference to Ricky Starks. Gotcha.
Miz puts a bitch into that middle rope over there. He points the gun, shoots it, hits the other rope, comes back.
That man shooting pellet guns, bitch. He's shooting blanks.
That's what Miz should do. Miz should just take like Ospreay's moveset and also Omega's and just do mockeries of them shits.
What will the Miz cutter look like?
I don't know.
Black Sabre Jr. If Cody main event SummerSlam, I might buy tickets in my city just to boo the man in my city.
Ooh, buddy, if that is what I think it's better use of your money. If you like, I don't think I'd ever want to spend money to see somebody lose in person. I don't think I've ever done that.
That's real hate.
Yeah.
That's real hate.
Yeah.
Like you ain't even going there to see somebody win. It's just
Right.
like, nah, like I can't see this nigga lose. Like,
Yeah, that's
God damn.
that's outrageous, like, level of hate. Like that's some wow. Like you need to be put up there with like Silky Johnson and Buck Nasty and Beautiful and all of them in the player hitters ball for that kind of shit. Like,
Jesus
yes, I'm putting money to make sure this nigga lose. I want to be there to feel the defeat. Ooh.
Sheamus Nova don't want to see the Miz letting Omega die when he does a Terminator dive.
You know
Jesus
what?
Christ.
You know what I'm thinking about? You know how Bill Simmons went to Game 7 of the 2010 Finals?
Yeah.
He was doing that shit to make sure the Lakers lost on their home court. It backfired on his ass.
See?
Now he's sick. See? Don't do that. Don't do
Sick
that.
for all
it backfired
time.
on you.
He's got to hold that loss
Forever.
Forever. Like, that is like, that's like the defining game of like my Laker fandom. Like, nah, bro, I couldn't imagine the Lakers losing that fucking game. Like, hell no. Like, that dude went there in person and felt it.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite playoff series ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like it was the best played series I ever saw. It was just so fun. It's like, I grew up watching Kobe and KG and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Paul Gasol, and then you saw like the way like the bench players would just like come in, like even Artest comes in, does a couple things here and there, you know.
Fisher would have a game.
Fisher, the Donkey and Shrek game. Like, I love that series, but like, yeah, man, like Bill Simmons went there to see that shit, and he thought that it was nobody.
Yeah,
that man hates. Look, I see like clips of Rasheed Wallace doing stuff in the gym that's outrageous. I send to you every so often. I still can go back into my mind and think of like how much he hated that Rasheed Wallace was out of shape for Game 7 because fucking Kendrick Perkins tore his ACL for doing something he had no business tearing his ACL on. Like, it's great. It's great. Like, I didn't care who won because whoever won, like, whatever. But it's great that Bill Simmons had to take that L. Yep. He really wanted to go to Staples to see that shit. Well,
that man wanted multiple things out of that. That man wanted to like bury Kobe Bryant some more. Like he wanted a lot out of that, and he couldn't do it.
You know what
he had to find another way.
You know the thing he's been doing ever since the Lakers won in 2020?
What?
He does this thing where like he talks about like, oh well, some of those Laker titles were in Minnesota. It's like, yeah, they're still called the Lakers, you fucking moron. They didn't leave they didn't like they're not the Minnesota Lakers.
Right, hold on. Is Bill Simmons saying like the parade should be in our city? Yeah.
Nah, like he's doing Boston really still ahead by a certain number instead of just tied or whatever it is now. And it's like shaky. They're the same franchise. It's one moved. It's like
shaky ground.
Like I don't have like if I have a kid here in Pinellas County, Florida, and then I move to fucking LA, like I still have a kid.
Right.
What?
You're still the father.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to call them a deadbeat franchise, they left. That's what you should call. That's what you should call franchise now when they leave the city. Like, OKC Thunder, you're deadbeat franchise. You're deadbeat franchise. You left Seattle. Fuck you. But yeah, like nah, man. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. We're talking about pro wrestling. But like, yeah, man. Like, if you buy tickets to go see someone, specifically to see someone lose a big match, that is wild to me. It really is.
Yeah, man. So
the crackling flame, the piercing heat. We were all born with a fire burning deep within our bellies. For me, Gustavus Swift, I turned my fire into the creation of Swift Foods back in 1855. For you, it might simply be to smoke a tastier rack of ribs than that blowhard Steve. Go on, find your spark. Swift Foods, inspiring extraordinary meals since 1855.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for 2 $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry and full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.
We had AEW Dynamite this week where we ran kind of long on that last segment. Kind of a lot went on. What's up?
Is what the people wanted.
It's what the people wanted. Yeah, we give you what you wanted. But Swerve and Darby opened up with a smoker in the opener. What'd you think of this match, James?
Very, very good match. Wasn't paying deep attention to it. Like what I saw though. Had trouble getting into the show. Like as far as locking in and paying the kind of attention that I normally do to wrestling when I watch it. But yeah, enjoyed what I saw. Thought it was really good. The finish, you know, once that finish happened, it was like, okay, I see what's about to happen in this main event. And then, I mean, he even teased it after in the promo.
Cut the promo.
Yeah. I almost wish he hadn't, because it would have gotten more heat on the back end. That way, it's people already knowing, like, oh, that we know he's coming out.
I'll leave it here with something.
Yeah, which is funny.
That shit was funny. I like this match a lot, and I think the cool thing with Swerve and Darby is the Road to thing they did this week. Swerve like cut a 3-minute promo that was like really great, and I get the vibe that this is not over between these guys.
Yeah.
And
what was your thought on the belt whipping?
Loved it. Not every day you get to see a white man getting whooped on national television by a black man, but switch, we don't see that normally happening. So I thought it was pretty funny. But as far as like these two running it back, I think Darby's going to need a place to land after the Four Pillars feud. And I think, with the debut of Nick Wayne set to happen, sometime this summer, there's a lot of like moving parts available. I think if you start drawing it all, you can probably figure out, where this thing is headed. So
it's going to be real funny. Like to go from like this dynamic we've had of like Sting and Darby, where Darby's a little homie, but he's a star. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, he's going to be big homie for Nick Wayne while Nick Wayne's bigger than him. It's going to be a fun change in dynamic. It is.
NJ does PR says, rank the pillars right now.
Oh, for me? For my personal liking, for if I was going to start a promotion?
He just said rank them. So
okay, I'll do the like from a promotional standpoint, right? If I'm Tony Khan or Vince McMahon or whatever else, MJF, Darby, Jungle Boy, Guevara.
I would probably go in the same order. I think Sammy has a slightly higher match ceiling. He just kind of gets like there's a lot character wise to be desired with him, where I think Jungle Boy has less baggage than Sammy Guevara, and he's slightly younger. So
he does. And also like that when they, as like the way that like that TNT title run went to shit so fast, it was really like, wow, like we just let you out of the we just let you out of the house and like you've already like crashed a car. You crashed a car, you ain't even got the neighborhood. Fuck.
I think
He'll get another shot. He'll get another shot.
Look, to be fair to Sammy, a lot of that booking now, when you look at others that have won the TNT title and almost had nothing waiting for them on the other side, maybe this was like the first sign that was like, this is a weakness that TK has. I remember being upset at the time. He was just wrestling, as I called them, the Good Hand Mafia or some shit like that. Like they were bringing in like Bobby Fish off the street, and it's like, this doesn't mean anything. Like, and he's having good matches, like, him and Jay Lethal, but it was like, it wasn't like moving him up or anything. It was like he was just kind of doing something. So for me, it's MJF, Darby, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara.
Now, if you ask me my personal preferences, I would just swap MJF and Darby at 1 and 2. I would put Darby 1, MJF 2, and then keep 3 at Jungle Boy and 4 at Guevara. For my personal taste.
Like Sammy may be my favorite wrestler of them all, but it's just in ranking them, like I can't put him number 1 or anything like that. Like MJF is like, he's done too much great work, too many awesome promos, even for the promos I don't necessarily dig. I think he has like a lot there. When he wrestles, it's awesome. His frequency of wrestling is bothersome, and the fact like WWE has a champion that barely shows up to wrestle, and it seems like he's like doubling up MJF at this point. MJF has defended the belt once in 5 months almost.
He's had one defense?
He's had one defense, or 2 defenses, excuse me. The Ricky Starks and the Danielson match.
Right. Okay.
Sorry about that. This is, but
like, Rich, that's the heat.
Yeah, exactly. I think for Jungle Boy, he has a great linear kind of story that I think anybody watching the promotion from day one can easily like latch on to like him, because he's always been on the ascent. Like there's never been a backslide for him, I don't think. And it's almost like, with Darby, I think people would love it if he broke through, just because like from day one, he's just been this guy that just way more over than his push at almost at all times. So, they've all got strengths and weaknesses. You heard our ranks, but these guys I think are, worth, putting the time that they are into them. I personally think that like Darby and MJF up to this point have separated themselves as far as like you can put them at the top of the card with Moxley, Omega, Jericho, etc., Page, Danielson, and like there's a different expectation for what the crowd feels when they're out there in front of each other and when the match is happening compared to a Jungle Boy or a Guevara. Is Darby likes to lose? Yes, but the way that he just wrestles is just so like this. He's so good at storytelling. He's able to he's so small. He's he's a $140 soaking wet or $147 soaking wet, but like the way he throws his body around, like makes it believable for someone to watch him wrestle people bigger than him and believe like he can, put people like, have people reeling at times in the match. Like, so it's just so much easier than like the other 3. Yeah. Like if you look at like Sammy, for example, he might have the best match catalog of all of them. His stuff against Danielson, his stuff against Moxley last year, stuff against MJF.
Ladder match with Cody.
Ladder match with Cody.
With Pillars. Ladder match with Scorpio Sky.
It's deeper than you think, especially like
Stadium Stampede, Anarchy and Arena shits. Yeah.
Yep. Especially when you start like digging into his cage match and then kind of coming to the conclusion that his cage match scores probably get fucked with, to some kind of a small extent, at least. So like, that's why I continue to fly the flag for Sammy. So, Sheamus Nova, I don't think MJF, Darby, or Jungle Boy is surviving a program working with Scorpio Sky either. I don't know if Scorpio was necessarily the issue. I think there was...
It wasn't necessarily Scorpio Sky as much as it was like the weirdness of what the quick title changes did to the belt for what it felt like before that happened. Getting it from Guevara to Cody and then right back to Guevara. Then also like you had like Sammy by that point in time, like the weirdness with his relationship with Tay and people being put off by that. And also you had like what's his name? MMA Bellator or Miami.
Dan Lambert
as well, as an element that like people either enjoy him because he's good at talking, or people just hate him because like he's shitting on AEW, but it's like that's the heat, that's the point of why he's there, and people like not being annoyed by that anyway, while knowing that was his job. So yeah, like it was a lot of things, but it wasn't necessarily like MJF as far as like he was bad. Cause like, I mean, that ladder match they had was good as hell too.
MJF and Darby Allin though, after Darby's match with Swerve, went face to face, and Sting got involved in this, and I was really into this. I thought this was a great promo segment between, Sting coming out and then all the stuff he was talking about, but Darby like cut it, and Floyd was talking about this on All Things Elite, and it was just like, I think Hangman is good at this too, and it's like capturing what resonates with like the modern, like kind of wrestling audience that's like willing to accept different things out of their baby faces that may have not flown 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Like this guy like started talking about like, going to therapy and shit like that, and then got a standing ovation for it and shit like that. So I thought that was really cool, that, he could open up like that and kind of use that as a weakness for MJF, because obviously MJF is a fucking, a train wreck on several levels. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I never thought of it in the context of Paige, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So like they talked about being on the independent scene. MJF, would be happy once he's on television, but he's still not happy here. Darby talked about taking care of all the people in his life. And MJF calls him like an arrogant little boy. Sting ended up coming out. He told MJF like, why are you talking about daddy daycare when you were in Cody daycare? Essentially like filling in the gaps that MJF
I wasn't allowed to say Cody. I said his name. I don't give a fuck. I'm Sting.
All right.
I'm Sting on Turner. I say what I want.
Almost like, I'm Austin Reeves in a Laker uniform. I do what I want. Same thing. Sting, Austin Reeves.
Oh my God.
Same exact thing there. But, filling in the gaps for where MJF left those out a couple weeks ago. So I thought that was cool. He shouts out Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Shouts out Ric Flair for helping him back in the day. Said Cody was your support system, just like, Sting is Darby's. Essentially, his run is almost over. But one day, Darby's going to become the world champion. He said he's not interested in being the champion anymore. But man, if you telling me we can't build up to like a MJF Sting one off for the championship, I would welcome it, James.
It felt like you and two other people like immediately were like, I want to see that match, and I'm just like, I don't want to see Sting and MJF. Like I don't want to see Sting get punched in the fucking face with a ring. I don't want to see that.
Man, I think the Stinger should get a shot.
Oh God.
At some point.
I think if you do it, you have to do it like before Darby gets the belt. That's how you do it. But for the 3-way, you save that.
Right.
Or at least that's how I feel anyway.
After that, I thought this was a really strong segment.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Powerhouse Hobbs versus Silas Young. They're in Milwaukee, so Silas Young shows up. I thought Silas Young was going to do that thing he did last year where he just dropped in. Yes, with Heyman Page, like, and just start showing up like you one of the 5 best wrestlers in the world and shit. But that was not on the cards here.
Yeah,
he got squished.
I barely remember this match, but I don't remember
nothing to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
It was over in seconds.
It was not like that Page match. Like maybe it was because like old ROH guys that go back, they had the history and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, I like this dude. I'm gonna try and give him a match, and I'm gonna tell him, hey, try some, try more than you're usually doing your normal thing, and we're gonna try and make you look impressive. That wasn't the case. This one in
Powerhouse Hobbs did not have that same conversation with him.
Not at all. Like, nah, we finna hit you with the axe, or we're gonna hit you with the hammer and the anvil.
Look, the slightly on fire hammer. I kind of like that as a finish for Hobbs. Kind of strong looking move there.
Okay.
So after the match, before the match, actually, they show like this car that Hobbs has, and it's like some old school car. I don't think it was.
Was it a Grand National?
I
forgot. You don't know shit about cars. Never mind. Yeah. I think it might have been a.
I thought it was a donk.
It's not a donk. Okay, so Y'all explain the joke or no? I'm explaining the joke. Fuck it. So, Rich has been down here in Florida for now. How long you been down here in Florida now?
19 years.
19 years. So, like, in Florida, like, late 70s, like, Impalas and Caprices, painted up in whatever color. That's the thing. They call it donks, right? The thing is, Rich, anytime he sees any old school car with a paint job, he's like, "Oh, that's a donk." It's like, no, that's not a donk. He'll point at a box Chevy and be like, no, that's not a donk. Stop it. And it's just like, and he now at this point, he just does it. He knows like this fucking annoys me. But so that's been an all running joke for over a decade now between us.
The car that Hobbs had actually kind of looked like a box Chevy, like a little bit.
That's what I think that's why I think it was a Grand National, because I think it was a Buick. Because Buicks look like smaller box Chevys.
Yeah. So they talk about how Hobbs loves this car, and all of a sudden they flash back. Wardlow's back there, and he destroys that shit with a baseball bat. The whole time I was watching this, I was like, this would be more effective if Wardlow like turned the car over with his bare hands or something.
That popped me.
Like,
you know how heavy that fucking car is? He ain't moving that shit. That's just metal. That's not like one of these fiberglass cars. No, that shit heavy as fuck. Look, if you get in a car accident, I actually got a car accident last week, but I'm fine. But like you get into a car accident in one of them old schools. Your ass protected. These cars now, that whole thing might shatter around you. Right.
Know. But I didn't like this. I thought this was very
derivative,
very Stanford.
Yeah.
You know how they say Memphis is Memphis. This is very Stanford. You know, but. I think if you're going to do this and make it more effective, like it can't be the same episode that we introduce Hobbs with the car, you know, that
Bingo.
We destroy 10 minutes later. Like you can't do that.
That's exactly how I felt.
Like you got to build that up. You got to show Hobbs buying the car. You got to show Hobbs fixing up the car.
Well,
you got to show him literally taking the car from 0 to 100.
Right. I think wasn't the story that like QT Marshall got him that car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like another part that would have been more like sentimental or whatever else is like they were just in North California recently.
Yeah.
Like if you do that like in an area to where it actually makes some sense that he actually drove that car from his home area or whatever. Like if this happened in LA, if this happened in Southern Cal or whatever else, a place where you're like it's reasonable that someone could say, "Hey, I just want to, drive my car, my old school, up and down the highway, whatever else for a decent amount of time." Yeah. But they were in Milwaukee. He did not drive from California to Milwaukee with his car. And that goes.
Or he could not have. It would have made no sense for him too either.
Right.
Had they framed it that way.
Right. So just from the thing of like the distance from where he actually lives, and also the part where he's like he got it like a week ago or less than that, and now all of a sudden they're destroying it. Yeah, it was very much like that. Yeah, you said it felt very Stanford. I was saying like it felt very just like Monday Night Wars. Like they were destroying cars and shit all the time. Like Jamie had mentioned this in Largo Loop Chat. Like he thought that like he was going to punch the thing like Goldberg punched the limo, and like I was like. I didn't mention, but at the time, like when I watched it, because you know how, like, because the windows were so darkly tinted, I was like, he had used the pipe, or he used something for like the window or for the lights. And then he started trying to break the windows. I was like, do not punch one of them fucking windows. Do not punch one of them windows and get fucking cut up and end up like Goldberg. And luckily, he ended up throwing something into the windshield and moved on. But I was like, okay, good. Because I was like, please. I've seen the bad news with this shit. Please don't do this. Luckily, it didn't happen.
Yeah. So Wardlow ended up making his way out, and they started running it. Then all the geeks assembled, broke them all up. But Aaron Solo was power bombed through a table off the joint, and I think he hit his head. I think he's fine. But he hit his head. That shit could have went really bad, but luckily it did not.
like they set up 2 tables side by side. He only broke through one of them. The other one was just untouched. And unfortunate. Hope he's okay. Because when I saw it, I was like, wait, did he bump his head hit the ground?
I was like, oh, Solo.
Yeah. Like, it sucks when it's like, you're a person and you got to do this kind of stuff to get on TV or whatever else and build toward whatever you're doing. And then something like that happens. It's like, fuck. I feel so bad for that person.
Aaron Solo, bump guy. Sammy Guevara gave us a good one there. But Jay White then cut a promo, and he talked about Bullet Club. So him and Juice Robinson are the best faction in the group. They did like a long rundown pretty much of all the leaders and, shit like that. He bragged about giving Ricky Starks a beatdown. And they said, Mr. Absolute, he's just getting started. So they're going to take over AEW, and they are known as Bullet Club Gold. They did announce later in the week a Jay White versus Commander match, aka Kenny Omega versus Vikingo at home. So
wait, do you mean we have Kenny Omega and Vikingo at home?
No, we have Jay White and Commander. I know you would like the Kenny Omega and Vikingo, but we don't quite have that right now. But
okay. Just want to make sure that's what
Jay
you
White Commander match. So that's how and that match is set for this week on Dynamite.
Look, if
James, what the fuck does Jay White know about Lucha Libre?
We finna find out, I guess. And
we gonna see.
Look, I already got the match. Look, I'm telling you right the fuck now, listeners of this show, from the podcast and the stream, if Commander gets his ass up there for like his 4th or 5th fucking rope walk, and then the 4th or 5th time he gets caught out the sky and caught with a Blade Runner, I'm turning the show off. It's the most obvious fucking thing that Jay White would do in a New Japan Jay White match is wait to do that to get a counter and a finish. He's a counter wrestler and that's how it's finished. If he does that, I'm turning the show off because like this is lazy Jay White shit I be talking about. Like what? A counter, okay? Like or just beat somebody. It's okay. It's fine. And like this shit is like why we always say like we think that like he would fit best in WWE because like that's their style. It's like you get beat with like the last move. Like you don't ever beat anybody like decisively. Like you just luckily got to land the last shot and it went down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jay White in AEW, we'll see. Like I prefer what he's done in AEW than what he consistently has done in New Japan as far as his matches in the ring and his approach. But can we go back and talk about Bullet Club Gold?
Bullet Club Gold.
So, is that credit card with Visa or MasterCard or?
I hear it's a cousin of the Rush cards, actually. Something that, not a lot of people really use, that may be scamming involved,
Speaking of Russell Simmons, I heard that he came back and they didn't arrest him.
What's he doing here?
Right.
He should exit.
I heard that. I was like, wait. They didn't look fine. See that he was coming in and be like, all right, buddy. As soon as you land, we right here with the cuffs.
The Chain Gang, where is that? Jay White talking about the Bang Bang Gang. Where's the Chain Gang for Mr. Russell Simmons?
Man.
Can we teach him a melody? Can we teach him a hymn to hum? While he's hard at work for the state of Mississippi, Well,
why would he be in Mississippi? That's why I'm laughing.
Well, like Ray.
I know.
But, good state of Mississippi.
The idea they was seeing rich old ass Russell Simmons to go out there and turn bigger rocks into smaller rocks is fucking hilarious to me. He gonna put you to work now. Oh my god.
You gonna work now? Yes.
Let's see how well you do it. Let's see what that yoga has done for you all these years here. Yes. When you got to go out here and do it every single morning and every single night.
That man should have super strength, ready. Up next, Orange Cassidy versus Buddy Matthews. The Orange Cassidy title reign rolls on. I believe he's defended his belt 19 times. this man's been
Did he
on
defend
an
it on
incredible
the show
roll
this weekend in Philly? Wasn't he on the Philly NXT? Not NXT, New Japan show?
I believe he defended against Gabe Kidd, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that might be the 20th defense, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this man's been like there's an argument like for like I started calling him like the best television wrestler like consistently. It's like every week with this guy. Like, you know, are there people that peak higher? Of course there are. But like this guy like just is a blistering, like he just has this like this back-breaking consistency and excellence that he does. And this match I thought it was phenomenal. This is the best Buddy has looked too since he's been in WWE.
Yeah, I really like this match. I probably like this match more. I had to remember what else was on the card, but like I think I like this match more than anything else that happened on the show. As you mentioned, like Buddy, he looked like he has a spring in his step. He's like, oh, I'm finally get a chance to like, you know, show people what I can do in a full setting. And like I'm super talented. So yeah, I thought it was great, and I thought that like the crowd actually bought some of the chances that he could win. I was buying it. I thought we were on because they've been telling this story like Cassidy started to get worn down, but he just keeps pulling it out. Like, and then he's in there with a dude that looks like that.
Yeah,
who's out here hitting them with like these incredible sounding strikes. Incredible, like the camera work didn't kind of betrayed, you know, some of the strikes, but like they all sounded like gunshots were going off, and like the way that Orange sold him, and like he was getting, you know, destroyed. So yeah, it was fun.
They had a spooky video package with Christian and Luchasaurus in that red room again. Christian notes things have changed. And that was all.
That was it.
All right. Thanks. After that, Trent, you know, said that Cassidy's fine. You know, him and Chuck Taylor then called out Aussie Open for IWGP Tag Team title match on Rampage. I didn't see that one, but I'm going to assume the belts were not changed.
Yeah, I got 2 Aussie Open matches to watch this weekend. So
after that, Ethan Page is in the ring, and Ethan Page always like ends up in the ring in these situations where it's like there was no entrance, there was no nothing. He's just there with a mic.
Yeah,
I feel like I've seen this like at least 3 times
this year.
Since he's been in the company,
I feel like it's been more than 3 times.
Maybe. He's talking about Matt Hardy and Hook and the ongoing and you know, contract storyline, demand answers. Then Isaiah Cassidy and Hardy came out. Hardy said that he manipulated the contract because this, bro, like you think about how long this contract stuff has been going on in some form or fashion.
It's been going on since he was doing it to
Private Party,
Private Party, and then it happened. You know, the AF or sorry, Andrade had the contracts. Now it's
are these contracts like I would at this point?
Are they ironclad?
Bro, at this point, I would love these contracts to like be somewhere, like this storyline be somewhere present in the promotion until the end of time. Like somehow they just kind of keep getting rolled over to other people or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? Like, where did this start? Like, you know,
no, it was like someone's masters and shit.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, you own the masters now. You too can be like Scooter Braun, you know, buy the shit up.
Oh God, she actually had a show recently in Tampa.
3 of them.
Oh, 3 of them.
I think she got 3 days at Raymond James.
Okay, I saw Kelly went to one of them, and I was like, okay. I didn't know that was in town, but I will not be going to downtown Tampa no time soon.
Yeah.
We're not downtown, but, you know, by the stadium.
He said a win over Page would free him from his agreement with the firm. But then Big Bill and Lee Moriarty showed up. They attacked Cassidy and Hardy, but then Hook showed up and made the save. But the heels then got back on top, and then, you know.
Yep, sure enough. You know,
Jeff Hardy comes on out. He does not stop and hit the juke. He does not do that. He just takes his ass to the ring.
He did jog. He didn't jog full speed though.
Yeah,
he you know, his brother in trouble. But it is much better than the first time he showed up. That is true. That is very much true. The crowd was so fucking loud for him. The crowd.
Yep.
Yeah, huge pop. Yep. Biggest pop in a while AEW, I feel.
So this guy comes in, does a swanton, runs off the heels, and then I'm just like, Jeff Hardy is back. And it was, when he hugged his brother and, him and Matt, and knowing Matt and Jeff, they've had their own up and downs. And, it was, I think if you have a brother that, you may be going through something with, maybe that hits you. That hit me for a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't stop to think, like, we talked about CM Punk and obviously him being somebody that's like, yeah, bro, like, you're likely to revert to who you are, like, in a time like of a fight or flight situation or something like that, or when the chips are down, you gonna beat the fuck you eventually.
And then the case, go ahead. I know exactly where you're going. Go ahead.
And then with Jeff Hardy, it's like, how do I expect Jeff Hardy to continue to be a professional wrestler but clean? Like, that's not the Jeff Hardy experience. It has not ever been. And does it sound cold? Maybe, but like, people love this man, but like, part of that love is wrapped up in that dude doing whatever it takes to be at the next spot, to where he's pain free, to where he's whatever, where to where he can't drive a vehicle anymore for 10 years, apparently. Legally. I think at some point you got to let these guys go, but like, this just feels like it's a sad story, like that's gonna, like, a sad ending is coming at some point. And it's great that he's cleaned himself up to whatever degree, and they let him come back. Don't want to see, the alternative or anything, but it's almost like all right, let's see how long he lasts this time. And wrestling companies are still doing this. Like, they're still bringing Jeff Hardy back because
he's a star.
Still going crazy for him. And it's like, when I see him, I'm like, I don't even want to, like, I don't want to boo him. I don't want to cheer him. I'm just like, it's like, you're just another guy on the screen, and I don't want to get invested or anything. And, I just, I don't know where this can end besides the way it's always ended.
It's got to be in the back of everybody's mind that, like, it's a possibility he might get drunk and then get behind the wheel of a car and, put, people that are on the road or people in the path of his vehicle at risk, including himself. Hope it doesn't happen, but would not be surprised because it's happened so many times. And like, I don't know how long his rehab process was, but he was gone for a while. He was gone for a while. I hope hope it was positive, and hope that, he can take that with him and, keep his head on straight, or try to, fight this thing. Cause like, once you're able to operate a car with that kind of, blood alcohol level, is like, this is beyond just being irresponsible. This is also like a physical need for this in his bloodstream to survive type of thing as well. So, hopefully he's able to kick that, and, hope for the best, but I'm not gonna be surprised if it happens again. As far as him in AEW, the things I wanted to see him do, he already did, like him hanging out with Darby. If he reconnects with Darby or whatever else, going and like some type of trios thing or some type of faction thing after Sting, cool. But yeah, it just it's really just a situation where, like, there's not too many things I actually want to see him do in AEW. But we'll see what they do. Like, they can always find him a way to get him in a party match, and he can do, his couple things, and he'll always be super over. And like, if he can keep his nose on clean, he is a positive for the company. It's just, saying will he keep his nose on clean is like, look at the history.
Yeah. So after that, Kenny Omega was shown the video, presumably at his place. He's thanked the fans and the doctors for supporting him. Said he's been talking to the Bucks and they're going to settle their issues with the Blackpool Combat Club in the ring. Said him and the Bucks can accept being attacked, but he took their attack on Don personally. He vows to get revenge. He said he knows people don't like Don, but he's family across the line. Talked about he's going to get revenge on them. And then I don't know if y'all have seen this Don Callis cut, but they uploaded that shit. Like, that shit's like that shit looks like a
it was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. So
yeah,
like that
his
shit
head
was
meant to hit whatever it hit. It just it ran with it.
Yeah. So, like
that's a fucking
that shit too. Fucking hurt, bro. Like that shit looked like it was like
Rich. I'm bald too. You know how
there ain't no protection up there.
No, it's not. That is like the aftermath. Once you get like that, you get cut open, split open. Now you got to like try to figure out how to do this every 2-3 days without getting close to this. That fucking sucks. And that shit had to hurt.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Woo. Shit.
But what I will say, like the promo about like, he's, mentioning like they keep hitting on this, like Kenny Omega's aware that Callis is a slime ball, but he's family. Like, I like how they keep pressing upon people that like Kenny Omega's not going to be shot when he gets fucked over by this dude, and when he comes and then Omega comes for his vengeance, because like it's going to happen eventually. It has to happen.
Yeah. So we got to the match. It was Nakazawa and Cutler against Moxley and Castagnoli, and to my surprise, Nakazawa and Cutler actually had some difficulty in this match. I thought, this would be a laydown right here, a walkthrough for these guys, but Castagnoli, they blindsided them, fucked them up during their entrance. Full scale assault on the outside of the ring. Moxley hit him with chairs. Nakazawa got busted open. They went in, eventually rang the bell, but he's completely overmatched in front of Claudio. Nakazawa did fire up at a point, and I believe Brandon got a chance to fire up as well.
Yeah,
but was immediately thwarted. but
Nakazawa,
that actually kind of made the match. It was like, okay, they're trying to fight back a little bit,
right? Because it felt like until Nakazawa got something back, or at least for a little bit on Claudio to get the tag out to Cutler, that like they weren't even going to let Cutler and Moxley get into the ring during the match after the bell rang. Like it was going to be just Claudio just handles it. And then they got in and they were able to, show Cutler with the bleeding inside the mask and then put him away. So yeah, that did make it more fun than just Claudio just kills him. And trust me, I had tons of fun watching Claudio just say, "You gonna fight me? Come on, keep bringing it. I've beaten your ass. Get up and fight." I really enjoyed it. Like I love Claudio in this role. He's so fucking good.
Yep.
He's just a big fucking bully.
Bro, like there's a lot of people in like wrestling, right? And it's like, guys are varying degrees of physically opposing or threatening, and you'd be like, man, how would how would I do? What would my chances be if we got into some type of disagreement or something like? And there's a couple guys I feel like I can handle, right?
Right.
Claudio Castagnoli is not one of those gentlemen.
Oh, man. Like Cam from Wrestling Otaku.
It was my fault, sir. I apologize.
So Cam has said this on Twitter like a month or two ago. He was like, "Look, man, like Cesaro squats. like it's one thing to be like, the bodybuilder look and all that kind of stuff and everything, or even like the CrossFit build like Rollins. Like it's another thing to be like an Olympic lifter and like you do squats in your routines. Like them niggas, like dudes that be out here doing power cleans and or not power cleans, but like cleans and all that kind of stuff and snatches and all that kind of stuff. They have the quote unquote functional strength that we talk about in a way that like translates more than like if you're just in the gym and you out here hitting, working on your upper body 2 days, in 2 different days or 4 days or 3 days a week. Like it's just totally different. And look, that dude looks every bit like he goes in there and he goes to that gym trying to get that shit to translate into the ring. Every time I see him, especially in this position where like all he does is be aggressive and an aggressive asshole. It's so fun. Like he's so skilled that you can't call him a dumb jock wrestler, but he gives off that energy of dumb jock wrestler, like big bully that just like, I'm better than you. I'm just better than you.
I'll pick you up. I'll just take you off your feet.
Yeah, like I can manhandle you whenever I want to. I'm just gonna toy with you. It's fun. It really is.
So Moxley grabs the mic, calls out, basically says Young Bucks are in the hospital, Paige is in the hospital, Callis is home, and you know, and he said a line which I thought was really good. He's like, "We put the elite in all elite wrestling." It was like, if anyone needs a flashing sign on what this feud is, like this is fucking awesome. Like, and then from there it was like, I feel like I heard the arena go like, like he said that shit. Like, and then from there, Kenny's music hits. Kenny comes out, jeans only Omega. Jeans only Kenny came out, dark hair. And
I thought it was like, is he about to do the same dumb shit that Paige did the week before? Cesaro just finna grab you and finna whoop your ass.
If that's a smart man that Kenny Omega is. Someone said Kenny had True Religions on. Good God.
Did he? No
idea. But he stands there and they're basically telling him to get in the ring. And all of a sudden, the Bucks pop in from behind. Crowd pops for the Bucks. They haven't been seen in quite a while. Double super kicks to Castagnoli and Mox. Got some licks in on them, and Moxley ended up isolated in the corner. And then Matt Jackson was like, "Nah, man, before you rushing with the V trigger, how about you give him this?" But this obviously being the screwdriver that got used against Hangman. That Kenny is also not like with this Hangman shit at all. BT this week was really great. He said none of us, like, there was a stare down. There was like an exchange with Silver and Reynolds, the Bucks, and they were talking about, you know, who really is friends with Hangman Page, and then Kenny like jumps in like, none of us are friends with Hangman Page. Like, none of us give a fuck. Basically talking about the elite or whatever. And then Matt's like, I like Hangman. And then it's like kind of awkward. Like, so like the, you know, the revenge that he's getting here, it was almost like Matt was like setting it up like, hey man, you know, do this for Hangman or whatever. And Kenny's doing this shit for himself. Like, obviously because he was wrong too with Callis or whatever. So like, they ain't settled that shit. And it's still smoke in the city there. He rushes Moxley with the screwdriver, throws it into the buckle, kind of. Moxley gets out of the way, and people brought up that this is a callback from their match in 2019, but in reverse. So that was pretty cool.
The lights out match?
Yeah.
Okay.
So BCC versus Elite, another chapter.
Yeah. It's going to be, you know, their biggest story, like ongoing story of the year. I feel like there's going to be like whatever CM Punk and Jericho is going to do when CM Punk comes back, and you'll have MJF, and then you'll have this, and then like, you know, it'll be on 3 fucking shows, but it'll feel more like what the company was doing before the injuries hit them at the beginning of last year. Like crazy. Or like, because, you know, that was the thing that I felt like the company had issues with. Like, they didn't have trouble telling like this big, like a big long form story. It was a problem that was like, there weren't like 3 of them at the same time, like what's happening in, you know, when they were at the beginning of AEW. And I'm glad that seems like it's on its way back.
So we got Tony Storm and Ruby Soho against Riho and Sky Blue. It's a cool match. Not really too much to write home about here. I thought Sky Blue looked good. Love to see Riho at pretty much any time. But Storm ended up getting the win with a power driver, Storm Zero on Sky Blue, who takes another pin in this thing. Post-match segment, you already know what it is. Saraya comes in, beat down on the baby faces. Riho gets sprayed with an L. Hater comes in, takes the fight to the Outcast, gets over match. Britt Baker arrives to even the odds, but the heels bail and save Saraya before Britt can curb stomp her. They came out here and have continued to repeat this shit for like 2 months. So maybe this is their answer to the bloodline, like where nothing ever happens for a certain like amount of time.
But, they have to throw in someone making a face with a tight shot on camera. Gotta add that stuff.
They should add that in. Yeah. You're right. But yeah, this was like, it was back-to-back segments or back-to-back-to-back segments of like return, surprise, or like save for the baby faces.
So while watching the show, I messaged in the Largo Loop thread like, "Hey, bro, we see them do this shit every single week." And then like you pointed out that like, yeah, they had 3 segments where someone came out at the end and saves. Like, no, you're right, Rich, but I don't mean that. I'm on this show. I mean like Outcast beat Babyface's ass. Babyfaces run down to even the odds or make the save, and then they bail. I feel like I've seen that like a bunch of times, and like then it was like everybody else online, all along with me, all at the same time, were like, "Bruh, this all they fucking do."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of holding pattern this is. I don't know what shoe they're waiting for to drop with this, but it's like, yeah, I gotta give us something new. You got to.
They got the match next week. It's in Britsburg. You know, I feel like eventually Britt Baker's facing Jamie Hayter at some point.
I mean,
I wouldn't be shocked if that's a Wembley match, honestly.
They need to turn. They need to turn Britt Baker heel as soon, or not. You know, like get the crowd to boo her again as soon as possible. Because if that is not what their intention is on that reality show, then I don't know what the fuck they're doing. She comes off like the biggest asshole on the show. Like she is in other people's business. At the job, asking why people aren't showing up to work at the job. It's the job. You are not my manager. You are not my supervisor. I don't give a fuck what you think. Who are you to be asking me about why am I not coming to my job or not while I'm injured?
It's a lot.
What other segment of the workplace outside of sports is that, does someone do that and people aren't like, you're an asshole, what's wrong with you? Only in sports is like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a performance-based business, so
I get that. She's injured. Why aren't you showing up just to show up? Because I have a bad back and it's probably not a good idea for me to get on a fucking plane.
Well,
it's real simple. It's real simple. I have a bad back. I don't think it's a good idea for me to walk around the airport, then sit on a plane for 2 or 3 hours. It's not good for your back. But whatever. When you don't like somebody, you'll come up with whatever excuse you'll make to then slander somebody. And I also like the thing what she's doing where she's like, she is, it's not, the way she's presenting it is not actually about her. It's about
everybody.
It's about Tony Storm not getting recognition for being interim, for being an interim instead of being actually acknowledged as the champion. Because what she's really doing is she hates Thunder Rosa, so she is then like trying to get sympathy on Tony Storm's plight to get the rest of the girls that she's already in cahoots with to all then gang up on Thunder Rosa. And it's so fucking nasty. And like, I don't even watch this show, but I see the clips of it, and every time I see the clips, it's like, she's making herself more and more unlikable every single time she's on the show that doesn't involve Adam Cole. I don't get it.
There's more to the story than you're seeing.
I would hope so. Because Jesus Christ.
Like Thunder Rosa is not this helpless woman who's a cripple that's doing these things. Like she's making seminars, like she's flying around the country, she's climbing the Golden Gate Bridge, she's documenting all this stuff on her vlog at the same time. But you know, she's having her husband talk to JD from New York to drop inside info off to Rich. So there's a lot on both sides going on here.
Rich, like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like the Elite are also on this show. Did they talk about how come CM Punk's not bringing his ass to work? They don't care because they don't like that fucking guy. Why do you want someone you don't like to show up to work other than to slander them for not being at work? She's an asshole.
Well, if they talk about him, they might get sued. It's a little different.
It's amazing, man. Like, yo, this is wild. Like, every time I see anything about the show, it is her burying this woman. It's like, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. I'm going to stop. But it's like, this seems like a lot more than just wrestling or rap, if you get my drift. Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, I could not imagine, like, on one side, someone slandering this person and, like, acting this out of pocket. And then, like, on the other end, like, this person, like, never, ever, seemingly from what I've heard, like, you never heard anything from Thunder Rosa's side about, like, disparaging Britt Baker. It is like, so why do you continue to do this? To what does this gain y'all side of, like, hopefully you think you can bully her to never come back? I don't get it. And if you don't want her back, why are you asking her why she showed up to work? You don't want her back.
I know Thunder Rosa did apologize for whatever she was doing.
Apparently not enough or good enough.
So I think that happened like after some of the stuff. Like this shit, the problem with all this shit is that it's like airing after like a lot of this stuff has been cleared up. And the timeline is like, makes people think like, oh, there's actually a problem going on here. But like the resolution is like, set to come. I don't know if there is a resolution. There is like nasty shit in the water between them. Like I think it's quite obvious, and it's been that way for a lot longer than people think. These two hate each other's guts, but you know why it's different from the Elite and CM Punk is, this is going to sound bad, but obviously it's less important, like on every level. But hopefully they can like not do these things to where Britt, like when I started sitting with Tony Schiavone and he was like, yo, you got to leave it alone. Like, you got to back off on this. I was like, yeah, you got to let this ride.
That's the clip I saw. And it's like yes, finally ride. Someone is like, can you knock it the fuck off?
And also like reality TV is fake. So
yes.
There's an element of all this, I think, too. But
there's also another part where it's like we find out about these stories like Guevara in Kingston. We hear about the Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker thing, and then like we heard about that like while in the midst of the CM Punk Elite stuff, and you're just like, yo, what is happening backstage? All this place, and then like. Yeah, let's put it on let's put it on and record it on the show. And it's like, you just have nothing else to talk about the dude to make fake reality, and like you decide like, hey, we had these things that have blown over, so like we're gonna put them back on screen, or we're gonna try to put them on screen because that's happening right now, and then it'll be aired months later. It's like you're right with the timing of the stuff, and it just.
Yep. All the timing is like it's never a good time for this stuff, but like this shit is, especially like when you get people with Twitter accounts that want to clip something up to be like, yeah, like because obviously James worked with half the info. I watched the whole show. I'm a little bit more filled in on what's going on both sides. But if you only see Britt, you're like, what is this like? Like, and I can't blame someone for thinking that. And then when
you explain like the Thunder Rosa part of it, I was like, oh, so she's still Britt's an asshole. Like, yeah. Nothing you said like made it be like, oh yeah, like I see why she hates her. Outside of like, it's just like this is just
a lot of professional jealousy, a lot going on there, man. Like I don't know, man. Somebody got to, if you are climbing the Golden Gate Bridge, I don't know, maybe you could show up, but I don't know. like, and according to Thunder Rosa, like, they didn't tell her to show up. So, like, that's once again on the Booker man. that's not the wrestler to be mad at.
Right,
like,
but I guess, but like, it goes back to the thing of like, Britt, you don't even like this woman. Why do you want her to show up to work any fucking way?
Look, that's
fucking weird behavior.
Yep.
You are not management. You're an independent contractor. Act like it.
Yep. What else we got? Keith Lee and Chris Jericho. And man, they were out, man. Like, the reviewers, the cage match scores, they shitted on this one, James.
I didn't like this match. It was fine. I think that Swerve covered up for a lot of things that was going on with Keith Lee. And I think this match kind of like showed us, it's like, Keith Lee can do some strength stuff, but like the whole thing where he used to show like the agile speed stuff or whatever else, it's not there right now, or at least it wasn't there that particular night, and it was a bad matchup for Jericho to try to showcase that stuff. But yeah, man, like while Swerve got over, and Swerve in Our Glory or whatever else, like it actually like mostly benefited Keith Lee in retrospect when we're looking at it as far as like what he was doing, and then like the matches he was having, and then like, once he gets into tag team, the level of matches just changed. And like they needed to get to, we'll talk about the finish of this match now, and then we'll talk about it after. But yeah, like what do you think of the match?
So I actually kind of liked the match. Like, I thought it was kind of a classic Jericho versus Big Man match. I could have seen this being like Kane or like, I didn't think it was some blowaway match or anything, but I didn't think it was like some sub 5 match on Cage Match like is being rated
what?
as. Yeah, it was like a 4 point something on Cage Match. I was like, all right, man, what are we doing here? We lost the plot.
I don't know. It's not 3 stars, but it's better than like that, I guess.
Yeah, like I was like, look, man, like I liked some of the stuff Keith was doing. Like they were chopping each other. I like that. And Jericho is like kind of backsliding physically again, so he's gonna have to address that a little bit. But I think honestly, like Keith's been gone so long, and it's just like been such a struggle to really like see him produce anything outside of the Swerve and Our Glory tag team. I thought this was a step in the right direction, honestly. And with him being in there with Swerve, like I know that's going to go off. Like I'm not even worried about that. So like, and Swerve comes out for the finish after, said promo. Swerve's rocking this new kind of mask thing, only shows his eyes. Clocks Keith Lee in the head. Jericho gets a win. And I think they're going to do that at Double or Nothing.
Okay.
Like I had actually asked this past week if Swerve and Keith Lee was over. I received word it was not, and then I saw the finish of this match, and that confirmed it.
Right. So I mean, we all suggested. Oh my God, Draymond Green just fucking 8-pound stomped on Sabonis in the chest while he was on the floor.
What the fuck? Why?
Like he just curb stomped this man in the chest while he was on the floor. Like Sabonis on the floor writhing in pain as if he broke a rib.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nah, eject his ass. He ain't, Draymond's out the game. He's about to be out the game.
Damn. But yeah, as far as this whole thing, Adam Cole comes out and they kind of repeat the thing where Jericho wouldn't turn around and look at him, so they're set to face off next week.
Yeah, okay, so as far as Jericho and Keith Lee going into their separate programs, I'm looking forward to both of those. I just didn't like this match. And it's one of those situations where, like, the beginning of the show, end of the show, it was like, we put two people that are in programs that are, separate from each other, and we're going to come up with ways to beat these people that are going to start a program. So it's like whatever is fresh or whatever. So I don't hate it as much. A lot of people were complaining about like, why does Swerve have to lose? Why did Keith Lee have to lose? Was like, they're about to move on to this other program and they're going to get each other over. So it's fine. But yeah, I'm fine with it. Like to get Adam Cole, Jericho, to get Keith Lee, Swerve, to get, the Pillars thing. Like those are all 3 program or matches that I want to see in some capacity. So it is what it is. It's fine. Yep. And now Draymond is like arguing with fans in the crowd while they're reviewing him stomping Sabonis in the chest or in the ribs.
Love that for Draymond. But I guess there's only one thing left to do, James, and I will hit the music. One Nation Radio, always ahead.
So
who said Mariah was going back to back?
So I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned that you, I can't remember the prediction. Was it once we got to the Final Four, or was it like before we got to the tournament?
This was before we got to the tournament.
Okay. Yeah. Like I forgot, but like once we got to that Final Four, it was like, she damn well better go back to back. I'm not trying to like look.
If it wasn't going to be Waka, she wasn't going to run up the Waka meter. I'll take Mariah. Like, if it was like Maya Sakura or something, I would have been pissed. But.
So Niagara Driver suggested like if Waka won, she could like not challenge for the red or white belt. She could just challenge for the future belt. And they're like, okay, that's cool. That's fine. But like the other 3 is like, you can't challenge for nothing else but the red or white belt. And like, I saw Ami in a white belt match. She's not ready to be semi-main eventing a pay-per-view yet. And she's better than Maya is. So it's absolutely out of the question. So like Mariah, for me, it was like, she has to go back to back in. So let's just talk about the Cinderella tournament. First match of the semifinals was Mai versus Waka. Played a lot on their history, from Act Rest Girls and then Cosmic Angels, and then Mai leaving to go to Donna Del Mondo. Showing that, Waka can make it more competitive now that she's leveled up and she's got a couple wins under her belt. But ultimately, Mai ended up getting the best of her and having to put her away with the Harlem Hangover. And this time, she actually hit the Harlem Hangover without like just landing with the foot right on Waka's face this time. So we are improving. So Mai advanced to the final. Then Mariah and Ami had just a hoss match. And at the end, Mariah ended up winning with, I think it was just off 2 ropes, ejected. Draymond cannot believe he's getting ejected. He got ejected. Even though it's like, you just fucking 8-pound stomp someone in the chest while they're on the ground. You're getting ejected. There's nothing. What else were you trying to do other than to stomp his fucking ribs? But anyway, Mariah won by hitting coming off the ropes, hitting a big lariat. She's been using that as a secondary finisher lately. So she ends up getting the win with that.
I mean, he is kind of holding him.
Oh yeah, definitely holding. But he definitely holding. Like, for me, you know what I'd do? I would attack Sabonis and I would have ejected Draymond.
Yeah.
Because like why are you grabbing his leg? I absolutely agree with you. He should be a tech, and I think they're shooting. Yeah. So they did tech. It looks like because I see Steph shooting the foul shot. So yeah.
Niggas putting that Seth Rollins curve stomp shit out.
I could. Like, that shit has derailed the show. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, Draymond, this is not the time for you to be doing this shit. We all trying to pile on to Dylan Brooks. Stop this.
Like, that man, like, if anybody gonna be dirty, it's gonna be me.
Yes. Like, fuck. But anyway, so, moving on to the finals, or you end up getting, Mariah versus, Mai. Obviously, when, Mariah left to be the second member or the third member of, God's Eye with, Shuri and Ami, Maya was upset, and I was like, well, you just left Cosmic Angels. You only been faction member with Mariah for like a month or two at most. What the fuck you crying for? So they had the match, and I thought Mariah did a commendable job making out a competitive match with Mai. I thought that Mai, she's trying hard. She has improved. There's still a limit on what she could do in a big match spot. But they got to the point to where like Mariah gave her the Miramari shock and kicked out, and like then Mai pulled ahead of Mariah, and then like people were like, "Oh my God, is she going to win?" And then the crowd was like, "No, we do not want to see this woman win this fucking tournament." And they started three clapping and everything, and going and ruining harder for Mariah. And then Mariah came back, and then hit a big move, couldn't put her away, and then went to the top rope and hit the aces high like Tanahashi and get the W.
James, I want you to do your hands like this, like and then do the clap,
No, that's too much like the Gator Chomp. I don't really,
Is it the Mariah clap?
The Mariah clap, but I gotta do a shorthand. I can't do like Gator Chomp. I don't really, yeah. But yeah, man, it's
need to clap their hands.
But Mariah came out in new gear. Ami has new gear, and I think we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with Mariah with the gear maker. Like she has new gear and is better than her previous gear, but she still looks kind of generic-ish. And like Ami's new gear, she looks distinct and looks great. She has jumped in front of her in the gear game. So we gotta get Mariah.
Tommy gonna have to give up the phone number.
I mean, but she's right there with Shuri. Like she should have Shuri right.
Maybe Shuri don't want to tell her secrets. Maybe. Have we considered maybe Shuri's selfish?
That don't sound right to me, but possibly it's possible. Anything's possible, sure, bro. Harrison Barnes dunk, steals the inbound, passes out to a shooter he misses, and Steph gets the ball. But it was about to be a big swing. But Sacramento's up too.
About to be some more revenge.
Oh wow. Other match worth talking about on the show was the last DDM match. So Himeka's last match in Domino Mondo is Julia, Micah, Himeka, and Tekla versus Tam, Natsupoi, Mina, and Saki. And they had a very, very good match. If someone like crazy spots. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. Also crazy spots. You get a bunch of Tam and Julia in it. Tam and Julia like both get pins on each other, where like the one faction basically like lays out the other 3 at ringside, comes into the ring. They all hit a bunch of big moves on one of the wrestlers. Then Tam or Julia hits their big move on the other one, and they get a pin. Then the other one, Julia got the first pin, and Tam got the second one, doing the same thing. Then the final thing came down to Natsupoi and Micah, and Micah had Natsupoi up like she's going to hit the Michinoku driver. She turns into like her big float over, spin over thing. Goes for the her flash finish, where she ends up like getting up someone's shoulders and rolling through, and got the near fall. And then Micah hit her with a big move, and then hit the Michinoku driver and got the win. So Dondo Mondo wins the last Himeka Dondo Mondo match. So Julia was saying leading up to this match, like, this is going to be I am going to cause the end of Cosmic Angels. And she walks off, and then they go to walk off. Tam and them go to walk off, and then Mina says, "Hey, so like, thank you for everything, but like, I want to leave.
And I'm out this bitch.
I want to leave Cosmic Angels and just be in Club Venus, and I want Waka to come with me." And then leave
him with honor.
It was so fucking funny, bro. Like, Tam and Mina are both side by side, and it's like imagine if like it's a couple has a puppy, has a cute little puppy, and like they break up and they're gonna decide who is going with who, and like they decided by like having one of them stand next to each other, and whoever the puppy goes to is who gets them. And
Damn.
It's so funny. Like Waka is at ringside on the floor. She was cornering them for the match. And like once like Mina says this and Tam's like, I want Mina to stay with me. Waka's like, she's making these faces like these fucking huge comedic faces. There's like, I don't want to answer this. I don't want to do this. Why are you putting all this pressure on me? I don't want to leave either. I love both of you. Why are you making me do this? It is like, it's just funny. So eventually Waka says like, you know, Tam, thank you for everything, but like, I want to go with Mina and I want to, and I have this love of pro wrestling, which she talked about like, throughout the whole run, of her chasing to get the first W of like for especially like during, New Year's, right? Like the press conference, I think for one of the New Blood shows where she got the match with, the first match with, Nanai. Not the match she got to win, but like the passion injection match. She's like, I watched a bunch of New Year's shows of wrestling and I want to be that strong. I want, you know, and I love pro wrestling. All that stuff. She was crying about how she wants to just be stronger. Well, like she's talking about like her love of pro wrestling throughout the time. And like this one, she was like, I have this love of pro wrestling. I love the love of Joshi and like, I want to take it like worldwide. And like, I want to do that and help Club Venus and help the international girls. So she leads with and does that with Mina. It makes perfect sense. So Tam is fucking just emotionally devastated. She's fucking like hyperventilating, crying,
crumbling.
And like Natsupoi and Saki are trying to make her feel better, and they're about to leave after Club Venus is left, and then Sayori Ano.
Club Venus, by the way.
Say again.
Club Venus still recruiting out here. They're trying to get Trinity.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's called? She's been at the New Japan. She was at Battle in the Valley.
What if Sasha's the new leader of Club Venus?
You would, if that was the case, you would never could name it Club Venus because you're naming it after me now.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, that don't sound like a good idea to me. Like, her nickname is the Venus, and you named the Club Venus, and now you're going to give it to the person that's not the Venus? When you just name it like a lackey name after whatever.
The Monet team.
Right. When you name it something after Monet, then, or maybe it's, you know, whatever. It'll be Club Venus LLC, and then it's how to get around it because it goes with the CF or the CEO of Stardom in New Japan or whatever.
Monet Enterprise. That's a good one, Zakamaki.
Enough with the fucking enterprises in pro wrestling. But anyway,
well, yeah, you know, all these people want to get away from Tam, huh?
Yeah, that's how you want to call it. Cool. For me, I loved it because it's like, okay, so Tam is the one that's gotten this thing hot, like this show, this match, this program. She's going to lose. Like, how do you give her the fucking out that she lost this match? That she, in theory, should not be losing. Other than the part where it's like, you can't take the fucking belt off Julia. She just won it 4 months ago. Well, she's fucking emotionally devastated. She loses. That's a perfectly fine story. So that's there. So they're left there to try to pick up the pieces after that. And I'm thinking like, okay, so like, what is the shoe to drop here? Does this mean that like, they're just going to bring in all the colors, to fill the void? Like, you know, Saki's already there. You just bring in Akari Shimizu and Yuko Sakurai and, Rina Amakura and bring them in and have them pitch in or whatever else. And then you figure out what you're going to do with the rookies that are going to end up, you know, at different places.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do patchwork with the rest of, Cosmic Angels. Okay. I see that. So then, option I never really thought about, like, Sayori Ano, she walks in and she says, I want to join Cosmic Angels. Now, two things. One, it feels to me like on paper, if you put those three together, that's the best 3 easily they've ever had in Cosmic Angels as far as 3 best wrestlers they ever had at top, star potential or whatever else, all that kind of stuff. Also, what I like is that, like, ever since Sayori showed back up, she's been calling Natsupoi Natsumi, which is her first pro wrestling name, Natsumi Maki, and then she got to Stardom. And it
sounds like disrespect.
Right. So it's like, is this like a slow burn and she's going to eventually turn on them and then end up somewhere else? Like, and you also keep in mind, like, while she does while she's a very good baby face, like, she's also on like half of these the other half of the, the freelancing that she does is like, she's an Ozaki-gun cracking the whips and shit with like Mayuki. So like, she can play heel or babyface perfectly fine. Like, and you look at
man,
the issues with like Oedo Tai, or you look at the issues where it's like Donald Mondo is down to 4 people after Himeka leaves. It's like, they could use a 5th, and they could use someone that's, like, if Mai Sakurai or Tekla, I mean, Tekla should be their 3rd, but they act like Mai Sakurai is going to be the 3rd. And I gotta say, like, if she's the 3rd, she's the worst 3rd wrestler in any faction. I ain't cutting it.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
There's a photo I've put up on the stream.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that during the show.
I feel like I smell a rat, man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would like to present another photo as well for the people here. We got Natsupoi here smiling, looking devious, treacherous. Untrustworthy, I might add. And then you had this woman next to her just kind of just physically repulsed at this whole thing right here, this whole setup. I'm reading the body language here. Like, she's standing straight up. Natsupoi hanging on for dear life. Tam just doesn't even know what's going on. And then Saki is just like kind of sitting on the outside like, so this how they get down over here? So like, it just looked like chaos, disarray going on right here.
So a lot's in flux. Like, I personally think, like, for me, it works. Either thing they do, like, they have her stay, they have her turn on them and leave. Either way is like, after this is over, after we get past this show, like, Natsupoi and Tam are going to need like something to do. Like, if you want to do are we
about to get the long-awaited Ozaki-gun Cosmic Angels war?
Nah, they're not bringing Ozaki-gun. But I mean, like, as far as she can play heel, it's like, okay, like, if they want to, right? If they want to, I'm not saying they should, but if they want to, they could put her in Donald Mondo and be the number 3, or they could put her in Oedo Tai and have a real real 3rd really good person there, as opposed to just like, oh, we'll do patchwork with Saki Kashima being, can beat anybody with the roll-up thing, or still do pretend with Natsuko. So that's what I'm saying. Like, either one works. Either way, I don't think they're getting rid of Cosmic Angels. They're gonna bring colors in. There's gonna be rookies. They'll either keep Sayori there, or they'll have Sayori feud with like the rookies or whatever else. So whatever. So I like the idea of like you do this, and then like you kind of, this is a way to get Sayori over either way, where like either like she's there with them and she is there with them and they're a great 3-person force, and like none of them really are easy to beat and they're really talented, or like you set all that up and then you have her stab them in the back, and then like you get Sayori some heat, as opposed to like, we've seen people come in, they just come in and wrestle. There's no real like storyline or character thing there. So I like that. Because I think Sayori's really good. Do I think she's a top 10 wrestler in Stardom? Probably not. But like she has the look. She's been given a lot of stuff in the last year or so to make you think like they definitely want her. They want to push someone that like her, right? I mean, so I really like what they did. As far as shuffling the deck, in a way, it reminds me of like the stuff they did with New Japan, with like just 5 guys, Rebel Club. It's just like we got to fresh some things up around the periphery and like keep this thing going. Like, we can't keep, Cosmic Angels, like, everybody in Cosmic Angels got over. It's a success. So, like, it's time to, use them in different ways. And then also, I'm interested to see, like, what they're going to do to add to, like, down the model now that, like, when Himeka's going to be 4 of them. Because they're obviously going to have to.
Hopefully, Sayori gets my Western Unions. Much in the way I sent some funds to Himeka to handle Natsupoi. The check's on the way, Sayori. MJ does PR. We'll holler at you.
Yeah, later. So, I guess it pretty much covered Cinderella tournament. Oh yeah, Mirai, she came down in the dress. This time she came out in she came out in the platinum, the platinum dress. And, she says that, like, she hasn't decided who she wants to face, but she'll face either red or white. She'll decide at a later time, which is like, that's good not to do it because you tell us where it happened. It's going to pretty much give away what's going to happen at, the big show, the biggest show of the year. So, smart bit of business. And also she's in a tag title match. So, like, she could be tag champions. So that can also spoil that stuff too, because you're not going to make her like double champion, I don't think. I guess it's now time to get into previewing the big show this weekend on Sunday.
Yeah, it's on Sunday. So
yes.
Next Sunday. So hopefully we can have this thing all watched and everything like that.
Yeah.
Waking up that early is woo.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it live, but yeah. We'll figure it out. Yeah, Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom 2023 in Yokohama Arena. I have looked at the tickets for this thing consistently, and like there's like 15 sections, 8 of them have been sold out, and I think 3 or 4 of them are nearly sold out. So like shows has done well. Don't know like what the sectioning is for any of that stuff, and as far as like what number it'll be, but I'm assuming they were shooting for, trying to put 5,000, 6,000 people in there. So we'll see how it goes when we get the final number. But like, I'm assuming it'll look good. But yeah, do you want to go? How do you want to do this? You want to start at the top, or you want to go through the whole card from the beginning to end?
I guess let's go from beginning to end.
Okay, so I don't know if this is a pre-show yet or not, but it is the All-Star Battle Royal. And it's going to have Momo Nakanishi in it, former AJW top champion and, longtime tag team partner of Nanai Takahashi. High-speed wrestler, awesome. She's basically in a way, like, her matches with, like, Yumiko Mikawa, like, the proto, like, Azumi Shuri stuff, where it's, like, this small, super fast, like, blur of a woman, like, facing this ass-kicking, like, kickboxer type lady. Their matches are awesome. I've seen 2 of them. Like, yeah,
one's for hoping that Aja Kong is a surprise competitor.
Did I see you the thing about that?
Yeah, she was like, ain't nothing settled.
Yeah, she's like, nah, Rossi still owes me money. So,
pay Rossi Ogawa, pay what you owe. Pay what you owe. God damn it.
Oh, man. So,
Stars against Queen's Quest.
Yeah, because it was Julia was hanging out with Aja Kong for Aja Kong, like, I think she has some TV show where she interviews wrestlers, similar to, like, or maybe it's for YouTube, like how, who does that right now? Bull Nakano does it as well. Bull Nakano. So, people were, like, making messages, like, it's good to see that, like, Rossi and her very dehash or whatever else, and she was like, "Nah, nothing has been. There has been no settlement." I fucking laughed. It's like
Aja came out here with that. She came out here with that Jay Mills. That no.
So, I don't know what surprises we'll get, but I'm sure there'll be a few in there, and we'll see whatever blast from the past. Hopefully, I would like to see Jungle Kiyono in this because, the Nomad show was the other day. Have not watched it yet. The Nomad 3 show.
Seems like she's kind of tied in with the Wrestle Universe people, so I don't know.
She's
like,
tied,
it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. They trying to start something up themselves over there.
Right, but Rich, you gotta remember, like, she built this match as like this might be her last match. She doesn't know, or whatever else. And also, like, another thing about like the Wrestle Universe people is like Wrestle Universe. So you mean like basically the Nomads universe that had like Maya Yuki, who also was in Stardom this year, Sayoriana, who's also, you know, like Natsu Samire, who, did, Stardom and Showcase last year. Yep. Like, all of it's connected, all of them reaching in, all of it. So, like, I would not be surprised to see Jungle. I would like to see Jungle at Yokohama Arena. Obviously, she already did Yokohama Arena for Noah, but I would like to see her do the Stardom Yokohama Arena show as well. And get, like, one last match with Stardom, and then, and we'll see what happens. Because, it might be the end for her. So, I would like to see, it ends in a Stardom ring. Right. So, or not even Stardom ring, because who knows if because Hannah's Memorial Show is next month, at the end of the month, and like she might do that too. So, she keeps talking about like she's gonna have a last match and get her knee worked on the third time, and she might keep putting it off to continue doing these shows. We'll see. But anyway, moving on from there. You get the celebrity tag match. You get Hazuki with the person she's been training, Fua-chan, the YouTuber that we've talked about on the show, versus Utami and Miyu Hamasaki. That's overkill. But now, from what I saw in the match that Fua had a couple months ago on pay-per-view, she's not bad. Like, she looks like she knows what she's doing and whatever else. Obviously, it gave her a little bit more than the average rookie would have. But, like, the match was good. The match was fun that she had. Like, if she can have another one of these on the show with Utami and with Hazuki, I think that does a world of help for both of them. And, like, they're trying to convince her to become a wrestler. And if she does, and if she gets good at this, that's going to be a whole different level of star than they've ever had. Or at least since Yuzuki Akawa. So, moving on. Third match. Third match is a 8-woman tag. It is Saki Kashima, Rawaka, Momo, and Natsuko Tora of Oedo Tai versus Tekla of DDM, and then Jesse, Xena, and Mariah May of Club Venus. And Rich, have you seen any of the online stuff between Tekla interacting with the Club Venus Gaijins?
Yes.
She fucking hates it. She hates them so much. It's been fun and enjoyable, and they also know that she hates them, and they're just trying to like tease the fuck out of her that like, we're gonna try and get you to, join Club Venus, and then Tekla's like, no, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want nothing of you English speakers, even though I speak English as well. No. Like, it's fun. It's been fun. I'm interested to see if they can coexist, but I think Oedo Tai is gonna get a W. Saki Kashima's gonna pin one of them, but we'll see.
I feel like Club Venus is getting the push here.
I would see. I thought the same thing.
They've been winning a lot of matches of late.
That's true. Also using, I don't know about necessarily say underhanded tag might be too far, but like the guy just clearly lean heel.
Mm-hmm.
Mina and Waka, especially Waka, doesn't. So I think people are trying to confuse on the presentation of like what Mina is and will be going forward. Is she a heel? People don't really know.
Heard a lot of people are upset like with this with Mina, and like possibly like the ball being dropped like with her, and she's a heel. That look, we've seen her be
a heel. People don't know.
We've seen her be crazy before, which I did not like.
Right, but, and then you got on one end you have in the press conference she's talking about like when you kick me in the mouth with your fake move, blood, black blood formed in my mouth, and she, bleeds black goo onto Kamatani's face at the press conference. And then at the Cork and Hall show this weekend, like the day before the Cinderella final, like Kamatani spits green mist into Mina's face. And I'm just like, look, there was like just main event, just semi-main event Mercedes and in Mayu, because this, I don't get the appeal of this at all. Like, you had a simple story of this person overcame this terrible injury that happened in the middle of a title match that she was going to lose anyway. She was being put away with the move, and she botched the move that put her away. So people's heart go out for her. She comes back and she brings in these gaijins, which is in part people overreacting from the Western fan base because they, like, for some reason hate people that speak English in Stardom, whatever. And there is some concern about her presentation. Is she a heel? Is she not? Like, she's hanging out with these assholes or people that act like assholes while her story is like she's overcame this gruesome injury to get this match back. But it's like, once you spit the black goo on someone's face, like, I'm over it. I'm just over it. The program really didn't do much for me because, like, Kamatani's not much of a storyteller, a program storyteller in that way. I think it's more that people are, like, over Kamatani's title reign and think it's too long and they want to put it on somebody else, and they may as well put it on Mina. So they wanted her to be the babyface so they can get the big triumphant thing. And it's like, well, if Mina's going to be
going that way.
Well, if Mina is going to be doing this, then it's like, now they feel like, oh, well, Kamatani is going to lose, is going to retain, and now I don't like it. And it's like, I don't personally think that Mina is ready to be semi-main eventing pay-per-views in Stardom. Anyway, she's getting the biggest match of her career. If it happens, cool. But, like, I don't think that, like, you're going to take this off of Kamatani, put it onto Mina Shirakawa, and then, like, the 4 4.25 matches and 4.5 occasional matches start flowing, you know, every month. Like, that's not, like, I think that Mina has gotten a lot better, but she is still not a top half of the roster performer. Still, day in and day out. She's good, but that speaks to the level of talent on the roster. So yeah. I never thought she was winning. Even before this stuff started happening, I never thought she was winning. I kept looking at, like, oh, they're doing a show like the next week in Fukuoka, and one of those pay-per-view. They're going to put Maika or Himeka in one of these big, and then have a title shot for this thing. They're going to have to do that on one of these shows. I could clearly see, like, you give Mina the big shot, she loses, and she's a faction leader. You have her rebuild over a longer track, keep tracking the progress. You put the belt on Maika or Hazuki in Fukuoka, and then you let, you know, either one of the better wrestlers in the promotion basically succeed Kamatani. That's how I always kind of saw it. And I thought that they were going to do that by, like, having one of them win Cinderella, but they didn't. But, like, you track what's happening with, like, Maika getting this match with Himeka. She's more likely going to put her away in Yokohama Arena. She won, you know.
I think Mariah is, like, going to jump all over this.
That too. Like, it's another one. Where it's like, you have all these options of people that, like, I think are more qualified in ring bell to bell than Mina is. Just is. Like, I obviously those three aren't as over as Mina. So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe they're just going to say, hey, she's super over, put it on her. If she has, like, you know, if she only tops out at 3 3/4, so be it. But, like, we'll see. I'm interested to see how this all goes. I hope they have a better match than they had before the botch basically, like, made that match, like, people forget that match. It's like, it was a match that, like, was approaching 4, may have been 4, but it wasn't like, you know, Kamatani and Mirai. It wasn't like Kamatani and Maika. It wasn't like Kamatani and, you know, Kairi or Kamatani and Natsupoi. Nah. So, or Kamatani and Hazuki. No. But yeah, like, I just hope that Mina, the only thing I hope is Mina can have the best match of her career up to this point. Like, cause she's been put in certain positions and then she's wanted to do like things that got in the way of her matches. Like the TAM title defense or challenge she had back in 2021 where it's like, just have a fucking match, be better than this. Instead of doing your Muda gimmick. So, we'll see. Let's say third match from the top. IWGP Women's Title match. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm skipping around. I'm sorry. How did we end up going to the Mina thing? What happened?
Don't know. I think it was the Club Venus combo.
That's what it was. So, all right, so we'll skip around. All right, so next match after that.
I'll take Club Venus. May Sarah and Starlight Kid versus Azumi and Mai Saruga.
Yeah. So, Rich, I don't know if you remember May Sierra, but I don't know how it's pronounced. May Sierra, May Sarah, I don't know, but she's formerly Mai Hoshizuki from Marvelous.
Oh, I remember her.
Yes, basically like
she's Raw.
Yes, basically like another Azumi, except like without like as big of a bag, but like the high speed stuff, just So like this is a high speed tag team match. It's gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait.
Let's go.
Yeah. So don't know who wins. Don't care. Just want to see just this great action, and that's what we're gonna get. Yes.
Moving back and forth.
I'm hoping to get something that reminded me of like that anniversary show from Marvelous where it was like Mio Momono and Azumi and Starlight Kid, and I think May was also in that match. So yeah, I'm interested. I just want to see something like that. From I think it was last year or 2 years ago. So next match after that, you end up getting
retirement match.
Yes.
Rebecca versus Micah.
Yeah. So I've been just, haven't really thought about it aside from that's going to be depressing to see the end of that one or sad or whatever. But then like the English account put out the tweet today and I was like, it finally hit me. It's like, wow, they're going to go out there and blast each other, and Micah might come out here and be like, I'm sorry, I love you, before hitting her with a running lariat and just putting her ass away. But yeah, like it's going to be emotional, and it's going to be, a lot of this in the match. A lot of, a whole bunch of fists being thrown at lariats and clubs. It's going to be a fun match at worst. And then like whatever emotional aspect to it, from like, those two being one of the more like, joyful friendships in Stardom over the last couple years, and ending that way, like, it's going to be really good at worst. Their Grand Prix match and then double knockout was awesome. So I'm expecting something like that again with a finish this time.
I think this one is going to be absolutely excellent. I think, Michael's going over, Mecha's going to, lay it down for her. And, this is going to be like very emotional. It's going to be if you follow these two wrestlers for any like amount of time, you can see obviously how closely they've been identified with each other. It's like they're two sides of the same coin. It's Micah and Mecca, Mecca and Micah. And it's just like there are these two, big wrestlers that, I've called them like, what if Kane and Undertaker were good? Like, and, it sucks Omega's going to go because like Omega's like, I like Omega a lot. So I'm just going to enjoy her last match.
Yeah. I mean, me, like I had hopes for them, getting a second reign with the tag team titles and like having a long run that didn't happen in 2021, but not going to happen. But like I did get to see like over the last year, like Himeka like prove a lot of things that I had doubts about with her as far as a singles wrestler. And like, I'm happy to see that like, she did all that and then like she's going on this retirement road, and her retirement road has been very, very fun. And like, she's going out like having a killer, retirement tour. So, that's part that's made me happy. But yeah, I'm going to miss her definitely. So also we mentioned the Mirai factor when it comes to, challenging for common time for the white belt. Like, never, like, Micah could just as easily, like, win here and go to Fukuoka and, put the local girl in there in the main event with Julia. You could easily do that. And then you have the Kamatani and Mirai some other time, or maybe underneath that. I don't know if they do, a full white and red belt like a week after this show, but who knows? So, next match after that, you end up getting the tag team titles being defended. You have 7-Up, Nana Takahashi and you versus Mirai and Ami Sourei. I expect this match to be very good. So they have 7-Up have been nothing but impressive, given the against every level of opponent they've had in this title reign, and I expect them to do the same again. And I really feel like this is the first time their titles are in real jeopardy. With the Cinderella thing, kind of throw some weird things of like, are they going to give? How are they going to set this up for Mirai? Ami's already the future champion. She'll be future champion and tag champion, and likely the pin eater while she's the the future champion as well.
Yeah, I can't see it.
But there's also the part where it's like, this is now the fourth time that the new eras have challenged for these belts, like within the year, and it's like, I don't think I've ever seen a team get that many chances at one set of belts, or one get a shot at that many set of belts, and then like they don't win. So I'm interested to see where it goes. Like I could, if they were to lose, it wouldn't shock me if they put the belts back on Meltier, going into the summer. That wouldn't surprise me at all, because it gives Ham something to do. Ham and Nespa something to do. But who knows? But yeah, like I expect a really good match. I expect that, like, I can't wait to see Mirai and Nanai in this. And I can't wait to see like what big power moves like Mirai and Ami do to you. I can't not you meaning Rich Latta, but you meaning the wrestler.
Why you? Yeah.
So I expect that.
It is not.
Yeah, I expect a slobber knocker between these four.
I'm going to pick 7-Up to retain. I don't think Nanai losing in no Yokohama arena. Nah.
Oh.
Lower profile.
Yeah, can't can lose to Waka Tsukiyama on a roll up, but can't get beaten.
No. Too many people here.
Oh man.
Too much company around here.
So next match after that, you end up getting the trios belts defended. Prominence, Risa Sera, Suzu Suzuki, and Kurumi versus Restart trios team of Kairi, Natsupoi, and Sayori Ano. Now, this has old history. When on the fourth the second Korakuen Hall show of this month, the second one, April 2nd. Kairi had teased that she was going to bring somebody to Stardom, and the person she brought out was Sayori Ano, and she did it while Natsupoi was out there. Sayori Ano and Natsupoi, both Act-Rest Girl wrestlers at the same time, were former tag team and Act-Rest Girls. If you look at one, look at the other, you remember what Natsupoi looked like when she had brown hair instead of blonde hair. You think, oh, that's bigger Natsupoi. People have said that plenty of times. Sayori Ano, even while like in a babyface gear, she's not necessarily fucking Tinkerbell like Natsupoi is. So like, I can see people being like, I can see the similarities, and also see the differences as well. So back in 2016, Stardom had Natsupoi and Sayori Ano on shows back when their roster was depleted before they like went into Gaijins heavy. You would see like shows where it's like, I think it was 2016 Halloween show. I actually watched this. That Sumimaki or Natsupoi, because she had the poi gimmick at the time, but she wouldn't call herself Natsupoi. That was just her catchphrase or whatever else. And like, so she dressed up in a mask. She had a mask on, and on the ends of the mask is like poi, like hand shaped, like the poi symbol on the side of her mask, and her name was the Poi Man. just really creative, right?
Yeah.
Bro, if you saw it, you bust out
Groundbreaking.
laughing. You would bust out laughing. But yeah.
I'm hoping for a couple of things in this match. One, I gotta get Susie Suzuki's contact information for the Western Union, and I hope Kyrie tags in, and this is like Ric Flair and Sting, a Halloween Havoc '95. Like she tags in Alpha Nazi Boy, who's getting whooped on, of course, because Suzu got the Western Union, and then Kyrie just like punches Nazi Boy in the face. Like that's what I'm rooting for here.
So you want So you want Kyrie to turn on like one of her young girls, basically.
I mean, that's what Ric Flair was doing to Sting,
But we only knew of the young boy of Ric Flair of Sting being Ric Flair's like young boy, like behind the scenes, not like on screen. Anyway, they're going to have a match. I don't think that both tag champions, whether trios or two traditional tag teams, one of them is losing these belts. I don't think both are keeping their belts. Are both retaining. So, I think that personally,
Sayori is there. She don't look exactly trustworthy either.
Yeah, but if she turns on anybody, she's turning on Nazi Boy. She's not turning on Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Like I don't know who I would pick in this situation. I just know one of these tag team champions is losing. So I think the fallout would be better if Restart were to win these belts, and then you try to figure out what's Sayori doing with Cosmic Angels, what is Kyrie doing with Tam and all that kind of stuff. I think that's fun intrigue or conflict in the months following this show, but we'll see. Next match after that, then you start getting to the single stuff. You get Shuri versus Chihiro Hashimoto in a knockout, submission, or ref stoppage only match.
So they're having a Texas Death Match.
I don't think that you will be seeing the stuff you see in AEW during the Texas Death Match, but sure, why not?
Shit, go ahead, run it up. I've never watched Chihiro Hashimoto, but I hear good things.
Yes.
I miss Shuri having big matches, so I guess Shuri wins.
Right. I did not watch her match on this show. She had on the Cinderella final. She had a match with Konami. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I will check it out before the week's out. Some people are just like, oh, this is classic Joshi politicking. Someone avoid doing the job, and it's like, if someone gets fucking KO'd or submitted or gets beat so bad that the ref has to stop it, you kind of lost. The only way I think you can get out of that is you got put in a chokehold and you didn't get passed out because you didn't tap out. That's the only way that's really is feasible that you didn't actually just get flat out beat. Mm-hmm. Or get beat that's less that's worse than a pin. So we'll see. But either way, I expect them to beat shit out of each other. Sorry, go ahead.
I'd say there was definitely something at play, but yeah, what James is saying is right. I don't think that should really distract them on the work that's about to happen in the match. Yeah.
You're going to see some big suplexes. You're going to see some excellent technical work. It's going to be great. I think that so far, I think there are 8 matches on this card that wouldn't shock me in the slightest if they were 4-star level matches or better, right? I think this is the start of we can start seeing the possible 4.5s. Because it's also, you get the time. This is at the point where you start getting the time to actually have a extended match and really go crazy. So yeah, I'm excited for this match. And, it's Shuri in a big match in the first time in a while, probably since she lost the belt from, I think. Well, in a singles capacity anyway. So yeah, I'm excited to see her back in that setting. So then you get third from the top, IWGP Women's Title match, Mercedes Moné versus Mayu Iwatani. I did mention this during the little review we did of Cinderella final, but Mercedes came out and she attacked Mayu. So I think that means she has left Mayu laying 3 times now.
Yeah.
She's laying that heat on thick.
Like, if she beats Mayu, good God. I don't know. I kind of prefer the serious Mercedes rather than like the kind of jokey. No, she was in the press conference doing the thing where she's playing with the instrument and stuff like that, and singing the song. And I don't know. I wanted her to kind of treat it more serious, especially like this level of this dream match is. But they're going to get in there and have a great match. So yeah. I mean, I'm not really tripping that hard on it.
I've never really been big on the there's never really been a promo from Sasha or / Mercedes where I was like, this is what drew me here. So, or to the whatever match she's doing or whatever.
Like, sell me the match.
Aside from maybe like, and this wasn't even on TV. This was like the YouTube thing she did when she was building up towards the Royal Rumble match with Ronda. Outside of that, there's really nothing that I've ever been like,
it's like sell me that you know exactly who Mayu Iwatani is. Like, if you're gonna if your gimmick is like you're just you're big timing everyone and all that, I get that when it's Azumi, when it's Hazuki, when it's like lower level people, but like this is Mayu Iwatani. Like, I think it would have been effective if she like on some level was like, I know exactly who you are. I watched you from afar. I always wanted to test myself against you, and the thing is, you never knew you had to one day face me, whatever. But I always had my eye on you, or something like that. And it would have been like, I think I would have got more into it if she took that angle. I don't know if there's going to be any more opportunities for her to do that or anything. But I
don't think so. Yeah, unless she drops some video or in the week or before Sunday, which is possible because she does release stuff from time to time as far as content.
Right, and it's like, all right, like who kind of laid this out? Like, is this like a Stardom direction under this feud? Is this like Bushi Road like kind of directing this feud? Like, is it just up to them themselves? So,
I believe Meltzer said that like the run in at the Cinderella final was like just Mercedes on doing. She said, "I just want to do this," and like they're like, okay. So it seems to me like they let her do whatever she wants because they're paying her that amount of money.
Yeah.
So and that's fine because like for me, like I think she's fucking hilarious. So I did not know this at the press conference until the press conference happened. But like Momo Kogo speaks a bit of English. From what I can tell, it seems that she's much better at translating English into Japanese than turning Japanese into English. But like she was while Mayu and Mercedes were both talking and Momo was translating. Momo Kogo was translating. Like Mayu said, like something along the lines of, like I've seen you before, and like now that you're here, like I thought you'd be bigger. And then Kogo said that, and the fucking face Mercedes made was like something straight out of like a meme. She was like, "How dare you!" Like, like she was offended that she was called small. I fucking howled because they're both basically the same size. So, but yeah, like it's the best. It's the best women's wrestler America's ever produced as far as in-ring talent versus like at times the best women's wrestler in the world. So like I'm very interested to see this match. Do I think it's going to be like a Takumi Iroha Mayu match? Fuck no. It's not going to be an outright war where someone goes away with possible, with a big swollen half of their face. But I expect them to have a great match because it's my, we just saw her have a great match in San Jose with Kairi, and Mayu's on another level than Kairi. So, I'm expecting like an awesome match.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I expect this to be the second best match on the show. So, then Then you get the semifinal.
And whoever wins is based on the contract situation. I think it's pretty obvious to say that.
Yeah. So Meltzer mentioned that like she has an option and she's negotiating, both sides negotiating one more match. Who knows what the date would be? Who knows what the price would be? But that's in the air. At the least to like throw off the scent and like this thing is just going to be put on Tamayu. At least. Mm-hmm. So if they do another match, cool. And Mercedes wins, cool, because I've liked her stuff so far. If she's done and she moves on.
Are you sure, James? Because there are people in the YouTube comment sections that, I don't know if they hear when you or I say that we like Mercedes.
Oh, you mean in like the same clip where we said like, hey, I think that both of us believe that she's the best woman this country's ever produced as far as women's in-ring talent? In the same as that clip?
I believe that same as that clip, yes.
Okay. Well, I don't. If you only hear the negative while I'm also literally in there and I know for a fact I said the positive, then like, I'm going to read what you say, be like, huh, okay. And then you just move on my day because like, what's the point? Right?
We know y'all passionate. We like Mercedes too. Like, I understand. We're not going to count.
And neither one of us said that she was bad either.
Right.
We said she just wasn't as good as like the most fluid women's wrestler in the world and another person that's like one of the most talented wrestlers technically I've ever seen. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, guys. It is okay.
Yeah. So anyway, what were we? So moving on. White belt match, semi-main event.
I did that one earlier.
Saya Kamatani versus Mina. Yeah.
Saya
are we both thinking? Are we both in the same thing? We both think she's
Saya.
Yeah. I think like the story is like she hasn't used the Phoenix Splash ever since, and she pulls it out and she doesn't fuck it up and she just beats her and she moves on to whoever their challenger is and she probably loses it after that.
Yeah.
Or at least soon.
She's keeping that belt warm for Mirai.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the main event, red belt match, Julia versus Tam Nakano. They've done everything in their power in the last, 35 days out to the match to get this thing over. It has spiked the clicks and views on Stardom on the internet. It is the program, quite frankly, because they've never done it. You can't really do it, given that it's the main event, the biggest show you ever done. But if this was not the biggest show they were doing of the year, this would have time limit draw written all over it. 30-minute time limit draw. You want to get to Julia again, go win the 5-star Grand Prix, and then go get it at the end of the year. I would not do that. That would be such a bad idea. Like, unless, even if we were to do like the 30 minutes, go to the draw, restart the match, and do Shuri and Utami and then double KO, even that wouldn't be an appropriate finish for the end of this show. So I wouldn't do it. So yeah, I think Julia's retaining. Don't know if she wins. Don't know if it's a draw. Just know that like she is retaining, and the story is for Tam to go through the 5-star Grand Prix, win it, get her name on the trophy, and then go see Julia again. Either way, Tam has done as well as done as much as any program for the red belt that I can remember as far as being like, hey, this person, like, in this program has heated up the belt in a way where it's like, wow, you might want to do it. I wouldn't do it because, like, I didn't fly my ass to Japan and spend all that many hours on that fucking plane to see Julia win that fucking belt just for her to lose it 115 days later. I would not enjoy that. But for those that did not do that, I see your arguments. I see you, and I understand it, but I think that
there are people that think Julia can come off of it, but I don't know. I think this is where Stardom may have kind of like backed themselves into predictability sometimes, like with the long
run stuff.
Yeah, with the long run. So like no one takes anything serious. So like, would it be the worst thing in the world to flip the belt here? I don't think so. I agree. As well as like to kind of upset that, you know, we have one title change a year thing. Especially like, you know, Utami's not been focused on while Shuri's like kind of just, you know, like hanging around doing outsider work. There's Kamatani that'll probably be coming off the white belt soon. Like, I don't know, like I think they could use, like, I think there's a great argument to even if you put it back on Julia, right?
Oh yeah, no. If they take the belt off of Julia, which I don't think they're doing, but if they do it, she's getting a second reign, and she's going to get her actual year with the fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Like, no, there ain't no mistake. She's going to get a year-long reign with this belt at some point, whether it's this reign right here or it's the next reign.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's you know, I think Julia's gonna win, but like if Tam wins, like I don't see a downside to that. Like I know people are crazy about, like I know people are crazy about Julia, and I like Julia too. And I think Tam like winning, people on the outside would be like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like because like the Julia ascension was so kind of publicized. Especially like, you know, the people that don't normally pay attention to Stardom, like Julia's somebody like they're watching kind of right now. So there's some that like I think it would just be too much of a shock to the system for them to take it off Julia.
Yeah, I'm not like if you are like flat out, like I said, I did not fly my ass over to Japan to see Julia only be the champion for 115 days. I didn't. No, I want my money back. So, but yeah, like, cause like, you know, I said to you, you know, through at the beginning of, or in the middle of last year, like, it seems to me like Tam and Julia are getting their title shot against Shuri. Shuri is going to send them fucking packing both. And then both of them are going to be opposite blocks, and they're both going to fight in the final for the Grand Prix. And whoever wins is going to topple Shuri at the end of the year, and then the next one, and then the other one is going to win the belt off of them that didn't win. Everything has happened that I predict, that I've thought based off of the way they've told this story. Like, so yeah, I think that, you know, you give Tam, who is an underdog babyface, who's a great chaser, you send her to the depths of hell with now only, you know, only one person one person that she's actually been able to trust in Stardom, and the other person that like she has old history with, like to restart and climb from the bottom, get to the top again, get her redemption by winning the 5-star Grand Prix, go 10 in the year, win the damn thing. And like, but either way, like when people talk about like, you know, have complained about Julia and her title reign, I feel like they're like, how do I say this? I feel like they are misdiagnosing the issue with Stardom as being her reign on top. And it's not like, hey, they did this trios tournament that went 2 months that killed their storyline telling for building stories around their card, for their pay-per-views. And now
I'm seeing a lot of people not thrilled. I'm seeing a lot of people not thrilled with the Stardom booking this year.
Yeah, because they shouldn't have done it 2 months. Like, so when they announced Triangle Derby, and I was in Japan when they announced it, I thought like, or no, I'm sorry, before they rolled it out and let you know what it was going to be, I thought it was going to be like a Cinderella tournament, was a single elimination thing, right? Then I heard like, oh, it's a round robin. I was like, no, they're doing 2 months of this. I said this to Velcage. It's like, they're doing 2 months of this? This isn't good.
Yeah, it should have been like single elimination kind of thing, like, and
Rich, they did a two.
Because I kind of like it, like as far as like, you know, they built up to the end of the year show, right? Do the big title change, and then you kind of like let the roster kind of take it easy over the next, you know, month. But they went 2 months with it.
Yeah, and this is also like, Stardom. Sorry, there are storylines in Stardom, but most of them are subtle storylines that aren't big things, except for things that like go long form. The only people that are really consistently good at that are Julia and Tam. So once you do that, it's like, all right, you got a lot of people just lost in a wash almost, and everything's about like, okay, like is Waka gonna get her first win? Is Lady C going to join Donna Del Mondo? Like it's small stuff. So like when you're just watching a glut of trios matches, while that's all happening, it's like, yeah, I can see why people are unsatisfied. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you have the anniversary show. The anniversary show is, the main event is, Julia versus Suzu. And then the match doesn't deliver in the way that you were hoping. And in a way where it's like, all right, the last match we got was great, was really great. And we didn't get a winner. It went to a time and draw. We want to see a winner this time. And it's like, oh, this match isn't as good as the match they had first. So that leaves you, you know, great match, but like still leaves you disappointed. And then you get the Mayuki match, and it's like, okay, so this is not her second defense against someone that's not actually in fucking Stardom for the red belt. It's more Julia wrestling ice ribbon wrestlers, old ice ribbon wrestlers in Stardom. And it's like, oh, so this match just went to a double count out, like a 19 or 18 minute, 17 minute double count out. And then the two matches before were way better. Okay. Great match, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't Hazuki and Kamatani. It wasn't Starlight Kid and Azumi. So like people talking about her title reign, I think like they're misdiagnosing it, saying like the company's stale and it's because she's on top. It's like, no, the company's stale because they did a 2-month trios tournament to start the year. Mm-hmm. Like tag league, historically, you look at New Japan, you look at Stardom, like when they do tag leagues,
downtime of the year.
It's a downtime of the year. Now you're doing trios wrestling. That's even less over than traditionally than tag team wrestling. Like what this was like, if you were to predict what was going to happen, what's more likely to happen? It was going to stay super hot or it was going to go down. You would predict going down. And then sure enough, that's what happened. So like, yeah, I'm not a person that's like trying to hear any of the people talking down on Julia's, defenses or her title reign. It is what it is. It's been hurt by what's the first 2 months of the year where like once they got out of it and got to Julia and Tam, it immediately got hot again. And like the thing with the Julia title reign is like there's still matches. She still has the match with Tommy, which I quite frankly thought was going to happen at this show, but they did the Tam thing and maybe just do it early so they can build Tam up to get to the belt at the end of the year. You still have the part where like Hazuki beat Julia in the 5-star Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. You still have Mirai beat Julia in the 5-star Grand Prix and also just won Cinderella. You have a match where like, if you want to, you could put Maika and Fukuoka. And you have the part where like Julia and Mayu are 1-1-3 against each other lifetime. Like in their last 3 matches have all been time limit draws. So you could do that anytime you want to. Like, so there are programs for Julia to do that are actually with Stardom wrestlers. Like, don't think that it's not the case. So like, she still has that stuff. They just front loaded it with this stuff. I guess just get to the good stuff at the end or in the middle of the year. I don't know, but I will say like if you look at like the list of things that just instant programs you could do with Tam, the list is longer, but it's like just do the Julia stuff and then do that. Like, especially given the time, like if Mayu is going to be IWGP champion, I don't want to see a IWGP champion versus red belt match between Tam and Mayu. Let Mayu have her reign or whatever else. Hell her have it, lose it off to Tommy or Shuri or whoever, and then like when Tam gets it, you get the Big Spring Show 2024. You do the Mayu and Tam match there, and Tam finally beats Mayu there.
I think there's Julia is actually right now sending out tweets talking about she wants a match against Mercedes.
Yeah, I saw
double belt match. So maybe that's something to put into play as well to consider that.
Yeah,
seems kind of far fetched, but I mean,
I just
never know.
Okay, I think that as far as it happening, I've never heard. I see why Julia would say she want that match. I have not seen Mercedes say a thing about Julia. It's always been like it's
on Twitter right now. They going at it right now on Twitter.
Oh, okay. So okay. I meant before today. Like I saw that earlier on Tokyo Sports that Julia said that she wanted to wrestle Mercedes. But like before then, like when she first came in and she mentioned she wanted to wrestle, she mentioned like Tam and AZM, people like Kyrie and Mayu. I think maybe even Starlight Kid, but she didn't mention Julia. So yeah, they can do that, and that's fine. I don't like the idea of double IWGP and Red Belt champion, whatever. I don't know, but like I will say this, like it'll you and Josh will finally be able to say like, hey, we finally doing this thing with this IWGP belt as far as trying to close out this Stardom and turn it into a women's division for New Japan that y'all were peddling like a year ago. So I think that helps towards your agenda. I don't know if y'all even are still on that, but who knows?
Something to be aware of.
Yeah, I expect. But either way, as far as like this build to this match and the program has been phenomenal. And like, even like I said this like after the 5-star Grand Prix final, I had said like this is like the definitive like of this era of Stardom. Like this is the definitive like feud, and you at the time you had pushed back and you were saying like, well, what about Utami and Shuri? Well, the thing about Utami and Shuri is that I think the matches have been better with Utami and Shuri, right? The top two are better than the top two Julia and Tam matches. But the part where it's like you actually like as far as feeling it before in the program and like these and like Utami and Shuri are just the best wrestlers and they respect each other's crafts and just one to beat the other for the belt. Simple storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Tam and Julia hate each other in a way that like we could have put that shit on Monday Night Raw in the 90s and it would have gone, right? In the same way, like it's like you lay out what they've done to each other, what they've taken from each other, what they've flipped up, stolen faction members from each or taken faction members from each other, and the hair match, all that kind of stuff. Is like it is just so when you lay it out, it's like this has been the definitive thing as far as carrying the top stories of the promotion over time in 2020 at different points, 2021 and 22. Yeah, I just it's awesome, and this was like the best part of it because they just playing off all the history they've had with each other already, and I expect them to have their best match, and I've already thought they had two matches that were like both given 4 3/4 to, and I think they're gonna go out there and they're gonna top it. So I'm interested to see like how violent this thing gets. I'm interested to see if there's blood. Yeah, I think they're just gonna have an awesome match.
They can't split no wigs in the lead up and then not do it in the real match.
That's how I feel too. But yeah, I who knows? Like we might we might see a violent screwdriver fall off the second rope. I don't know what. Like we finna see something wild. Like we're definitely gonna see tables.
Through the Japanese table.
Yeah. They didn't use tables on each other before. They did in the hair match. But yeah, like this is gonna be awesome.
They need to make this a death match. Quit playing.
They could have. Maybe they can't get away with that. Maybe they were like, nah, refrain from that. You can do it, but you can't call it that. But yeah, like I expect an awesome match. And I expect this like they had this match and Julia wins, and the people that were talking about her title reign and whatever else, they can promptly stop talking about what her reign isn't doing, because this is the one of the best programs worldwide going on right now, maybe the best, and they'll have a match to match it, and you'd be like, all right, well, she won the belt in an absolute classic, and the potential that she has some super awesome match this weekend too to go with it, and along with her other two matches that were also great. So it's like, what are we doing now? So yeah, I'm excited for Tam, excited for Julia, and I'm excited for the rest of the year once we get past this and figure out what's going to happen with like Mirai and Cinderella and all that kind of stuff, and what's going to happen at the Fukuoka show, and getting into like the summer before we get to the 5-star Grand Prix in August or early July. I don't think the date's on that yet. So, but yeah, that's all I got on the show.
Yeah, man.
Wow, we've talked forever.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate on whatever app you listen this with. If you're watching from the stream, you can go to the Cash App and the PayPal. If you're listening from the podcast, go to the show notes and look for our link to the Red Circle for donations. And
appreciate y'all supporting the streams too. Like, we seen some funds start rolling in at random. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah. And be sure to listen to the other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite. And if I didn't mention, I'll mention it again, the Grown Men Watch This Shit, Get in the Ring, Meet the Press Slam, and Great Match Generator. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
The Elite doesn't need to wrestle CM Punk. CM Punk needs to wrestle the Elite.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.